can see me and hear me, please let me know in the comments. If you can't hear me, if you can't see me, please let me know there in the comments if you can't hear me or see me, if there's something wrong. I'm trusting on you guys to be my eyes and ears. Welcome everybody to a live edition of the Overthinking Football Show. My name is Joseph and I'm your host, and this of course is a place where we love South African football and we love to speak about what is happening in South African football in what is probably the most exciting season that we've had in a very long time. Just a snippet of what's happening there. You've got Kaizer Chiefs, who are actually having one of their record seasons right now. They jumped, I think, 15 points, if I'm not mistaken, from last season. Well, wait, from 32 to 51. It's actually 19 points, a 19 points change. And then, of course, the other things that have happened is that Orlando Pirates, of course, is having the season of their lives. Barring some tragedy in the last two games, they're probably going to win the league and take it for the first time in 9 years. And then, of course, Mamelodi Sundowns playing in a Champions League final, even though Coach Cardoso complain Coach Cardoso Raiman. Lona le mpaparisa every day kinna le game ase wena fela. There's a Coke too. Lemo, there's a Coke. So let's have that discussion. That's what we're going to speak about today, because I've been hearing some funny things, but I've been hearing people speaking. Yeah, I've been hearing stories, I've been seeing videos of people saying that I man lo Cardoso wenu man. Lo Cardoso wenu agasenzelanga next and he needs to go. And people have been saying that Sundowns has dropped and Sundowns is out of it and it's not the same team and they suck and what. But I'd like to have the conversation. But I'm going to start off with context. Guys, for context, this is a Mamelodi Sundowns team that did not have a preseason. They were playing Club World Cup and I believe only got a week or two to prepare before coming back in. Number two, it's a Sundowns team that has played 7 games in the last 21 days, if I'm not mistaken, owing to the fact that they made it all the way to the Champions League final. It's a Sundowns that has made it to the Champions League final for the second year in a row, for the first time since Coach Pitso had this team, right? They've gotten the opportunity to win a star. And to be fair to them, inside our league, this league of ours, right, any of the last 5 years, even if they dropped the points that they dropped right now, you'd still, once you pass 65 points, you win the league pretty easily. Even last year, even with where they're sitting right now, Pirates would probably still be almost 7 points behind them. So it's not all doom and gloom, guys. It's not all doom and gloom at Mamelodi Sundowns, but I want to hear from you guys, Masanda. I want to learn about Cardoso and what he's done, what he's doing, and whether he's going to be able to stay at Mamelodi Sundowns, and if this Champions League can save him. If this Champions League can save him. If he was to win a star, what are we saying? And lastly, as I lay the table, guys, I think let's not downplay the type of season that Pirates is having. Everything that is happening right now is because Pirates itself added 12 points, almost 12 points to their tally, or could finish with 12 points to their tally. That is an insane jump. Orlando Pirates has been 9, 16, 23, 12 and 12 points behind Mamelodi Sundowns. It hasn't been close, but now actually competing. Remember when I used to ask you guys, are you second because you are the best of the rest of the teams? Or are you second because you're actually competing with the number ones? And this year is what competing looks like, because that's part of the pressure that has now befallen onto Mamelodi Sundowns, that they have to play until the final day, that even in the time when they're planning to go play a final, you still have to think about Pirates in your head. That is what real pressure looks like. And it's Pirates that has done incredibly well this season. In fact, they're about to win a treble, should they win the league. Anyway, let me bring you guys in. We're going to speak about Cardoso and whether Cardoso is worthy of another chance or whether it's time for him to leave. Let's have the conversation. Kodani! Can you hear me? I can hear you. I can hear you. I just want to make sure people in the comments, can you hear Kodani? Because something is going on my side. People in the comments, please let me know there. No, you can't hear him. Yeah, Nazo technology starting. No, I've got you. Kodani, I can hear you. But abantu they just can't hear you properly there. So I'm just trying to figure it out quickly before we go too far. Okay. Hey, technology. Hey, but now what changed? All of a sudden now my sound is gone. Korani, just say something there for me. Oh, Nkosi yami. Next. But I can hear you. I've got you. There we go. No. The people on the panel can hear you. But then the people in the comments couldn't hear you. People in the comments, kupaling confirmele if now you can hear Kodani. Yes, there we go. Mike check mo. Kodani, welcome. What are you saying about this conversation we're having here about Coach Cardoso? Is he safe in your eyes? Hey, Banda, you've lost me. Well, it is his network. Oh, okay. No, I think it's the network. Network. Okay, let me do this. We'll come back to Quran. Let me go to Miss N. Miss N, can you hear me? People in the comments, can you hear Miss N? Hey, technology. Let me just confirm. Okay, there we go. Miss N, what are you saying about Coach Cardoso? I know Ole Pagania, but what do you think of this conversation?
Okay. From my side, I would say Cardoso is not a bad coach. I would say he's not a bad coach, to be honest. Yes, he has mistakes are there and there.
Yeah, Conan, I'm gonna come back. Go on, Miss N.
Okay. He has mistakes like all the other coaches, but he's not a bad coach after all. And I think what we're seeing now in the past few games, Cardoso was so much under pressure. Okay. He was so much under pressure because you can see Orlando Pirates is still there on his neck. So the pressure was just too much for him. I think that's the other reason why we're seeing all these draws and all these losses. But he's not a bad coach for me. And the other thing, I think this season, PSL teams, they really improved a lot. Not only Orlando Pirates, but almost all of them. They are in picture. They are competing. It's unlike the other seasons where it was always obvious when Sundowns is going to play with ETS Galaxy, we know Sundowns is gonna win. When Sundowns is going to play with the Chiefs, it's fine. Sundowns is gonna win. But this season, it's totally different. You can expect anything. Because I remember when they were talking about their last game against ETS Galaxy the past few days, they were so sure they were going to win that game. Why? Because they knew with the ETS Galaxy, especially with the previous performance ETS Galaxy, it wasn't good. It's not good at all. They were not having a very good run. But it was a shock. We were also shocked. Trust me, there is this thing of saying which we banter. But even if when we bantering saying we now believe in ETS Galaxy, but we knew very well ETS Galaxy will never beat Sundowns. We knew. We just need to be honest. We knew that's not gonna happen. So it was a shock. What we saw yesterday was a shock. To be honest, we know Sundowns, they don't have that good run. when it comes to Mbombele Stadium. They don't have a good run. I checked. I even checked yesterday before the game. They are head to head. I think they only have draws there. They don't have wins. Akarabo, can you please close your mic? They don't have wins there. Yeah. They don't have wins there, but I was telling myself, even when TS Galaxy was leading 2-0, I had that thing of saying, with Sundowns is gonna come back here and win this game, because they know what's at stake at this time of the moment, because their last game, that is the only game that was gonna keep them on the race, to be honest. So it was a total shock. And then which comes to a conclusion to say, Wuti, now the PSL teams have mastered the Sundowns. They have mastered it. They know how they can beat it. Because trust me, the first few minutes, ETS Galaxy was just all over Sundowns. They got tired. That's when Sundowns scored those 2 goals. And then came second half. Oh my goodness. Oh, when they came second half, there was something else. So,
Can I ask?
Yes.
Coach Cardoso was complaining about the league not stopping to allow them to play Champions League. He played 7 games in 21 days. Do you think that that's something we should look into as South Africans, to say maybe we should respect the teams who are going into the Champions League and see if you can't fix something for them? Does that count in any of this?
I think it does. I think it does. We just need to be honest. Even if we don't support the team, the pressure was too much. It was the work was just overload, because playing on Tuesday, Saturday, it's something else, to be honest. Because those players are also just human beings. It's a lot. Sometimes you just need to reset. Just need to a reset. But when I was also sitting down checking at a schedule of the team that they're playing in final with, they're having the very same schedule. Because now it's not easy to say we're going to postpone the games. Why? Because there's the World Cup. There is no time. Maybe if there was no World Cup and then the games are not being postponed, then I was going to say no, it's wrong. But at this time of the moment, I think Sundowns, they were requesting for those games. To say, can we play this? Can we do that? And then those teams will also agree. And then PSL, if they both agree, and then they'll play. But at the end of the day, I will still say the pressure was too much on their side. It was just overload. Now you can see now the other players are being suspended. The other players are getting injuries. Like, it was pressure after pressure.
Okay, no, Miss N. Thank you. Let me go to let me see. Koran, are you with me?
I'm back.
Okay, are you back? Hey,
yes, I'm with you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, no, I can hear you. Korani, where do you sit on this matter? Does winning the Champions League save Cardoso's job?
In my opinion, yes. I will prefer Cardoso to stay if he gives us the Champions League. I don't see him as a bad coach after all, after this season. Like, if we being honest, like, let's look at Pirates this season. And let's give credit where it's due. Pirates, they broke their own record for most points. Sipo China broke the PSL record for more clean sheets. Pirates break their own record for goal scoring. So, which means Pirates improve. Sundown, did they depreciate? Yes, a little bit, because normally we get to 70 points, 73 points max. But this season, we are at 68 points, which is not that far off from what we had previous season. And previously, we used to win league by 65 points. So I don't think Cardoso had a bad season. Yes, it's not the season that we wanted. And also, we also need to count from the first season where he started. He went to the Club World Cup. We only have, I think, a week or two with the squad. And he didn't have the whole preseason. So I don't think Cardoso had the best season, as people are saying. But Cardoso needs to go. He gave us the final last season of CAF. This season, we are also in the final of CAF. So let him play the final and see if we win the final, keep him. And at least this coming year, season, he's going to have the whole preseason for himself.
Koran, I want to ask you. what do you say about the losing of the culture of Mamelodi Sundowns' football? Do you agree with that, or is it something that people are maybe overblowing?
He's gonna have.
Hey, Konadi, Kari Network. Kari Network, Konadi, please request again. Kari Network is going to be an issue here. Just request again, we'll come back. Let me go to Sipo. Sipo, Sandawana Laka, welcome. Yeban, guys, can you guys hear me? Tyler? Yeban.
Yes, OT, I can hear you. How's
you
it?
can hear me. Okay. Tyler, welcome.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can hear me, OT.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Technocrat.
Yes, I'm out of the country, OT. I'm in Austria.
Oh no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm in Innsbruck. Even now, I'm waiting for my flight. It's coming at 6.
Nazo?
I'm coming back home. Yeah.
Nazo? Okay, Tyler.
So I'm relaxed.
Let's see if you can fight for Rulani from there. Tyler, winning the Champions League, does that save Cardoso's job? If he doesn't win it, does he still deserve his job? How do you sit on this? Where do you sit on this?
I think let's start it from the Pirates route because other people are comparing Pirates and Sundowns. You cannot compare the two, right? Number one, Pirates, they flunked with Champions League early, right? Which tells you about the caliber of the team Pirates have. Okay. They had more squad, yes, they bought more players, which are above the average players, because we cannot run away, guys, from the fact that, PSL has a lot of average players, right? So you buy quality for Champions League, which puts you above 13 teams in the league. So you're about to dominate that, right? The problem Cardoso did initially when OT was to let go of those players, because he said, I can't work with a bigger squad.
Yeah.
Forgetting that there's a reason why Pitso had a bigger squad. There's a reason why Rulani had a bigger squad. Because if in the middle, Allende is tired, you are able to replace him with a player of quality, right? He was rotating those players every now and then, even Pitso, even Mangoba.
Was Rulani rotating them?
He was, OT. He was not rotating the entire thing, right? There was a time, remember, there was a match that was played between Maritzburg and Sundowns. I remember vividly. You even said, this beat him, Rulani. It's not doing, it's not like the A team. But you look at the time of the, and that B team actually won that match against Maritzburg, but not convincingly, because you are not convinced yourself, right? I've got a sharp memory, OT. I've got a very sharp memory.
But use the memory. Did Sundowns have a challenger at that point?
No, listen now. That's where it gets tricky, right? Okay. Now, Pirates drop points when OT, right? During the tenure of Rulani, Pirates, Sundowns never drop points, right? They never lost matches. Let me put it like that. They dropped points, but they didn't drop point where it was critical and they were about to win the league. Maybe they drop a point there right before maybe 39, 38 match. They then drop a point, but they will win all their game, and then you find they've got 2 draws. The reason now this one is crying.
2 draws, Tyler.
How many draws under Rulani?
His final season he had 7 draws, 1 loss.
1 loss.
And 22 wins.
How many points? There was a time they broke the point record.
He had 73, and then Cardoso broke it the following year. Well, he broke it because he only had 28 games, but he finished with 73. So the edge was that the 2 games, he did it in 28 games.
You see, 28 games record. Right? Straight record.
Yeah, Cardoso. That's Cardoso's record. He even had
The current record.
Cardoso's record. The current record is Cardoso's for points and then also for the most wins in a season.
Cardoso's got more wins than Rulani.
Yeah, in the league.
What are you telling me? I need to check the stats. What are you telling me? No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
You see, you're fighting memory. That's the problem. You're fighting feelings. You're fighting feelings. This is what I want to address here. Didn't drop points.
No, don't worry, OT. But either way, what killed him when Cardoso is the squad now, because he's crying, and I understand where he's coming from. But now, if you watch their matches, you can see that no, these guys are not. They're not fresh. All of them, they're not fresh. Even now, Puma from the injuries, they're losing balls. About Saleh's Muna used to be, a player where even yourself used to rave about Saleh's. But now he's losing balls, and at the back, there's huge problems. And they're about to play a Champions League. And he was saying when he was interviewed, they know that that match against Chiefs, there was a video that was issued out to ASFA to watch that match against them. And now there's this loss. ASFA is going to watch this game. How did they lose this game? Right? So they're going to study them. And I'm so worried about that defense. So extremely worried. And I don't see him winning this Champions League. Is
this a Cardoso problem? Or is it a Mamelodi Sundowns problem in the sense that Coach Rulani was also saying the same things? I remember in his that almost invincible season, he was saying, we're fatigued, I'm only human. Before the semi-final, he was talking about how, guys, please give me the 3 years left of my contract in order for me to go win this thing. Cardoso's in the same boat now. He's also coming out, he's complaining about this and that and the other. How much of that is Cardoso? How much of it is that, to be fair, Sundowns hasn't faced that much pressure, usually colleaguing. Now, when they're under pressure properly, whether it be Rulani in the semi-final of the Champions League, whether it be Cardoso now at the end of the season with Paris chasing him, does Sundowns have a bigger problem?
OT, it goes back to this squad thing, this squad depth thing. There was a reason why these guys had a lot of players.
But he didn't do this. Rulani didn't do this.
There was a time Rulani had a pressure from Pirates, and then Pirates fell off. Honestly, OT. Honestly, OT. There was a time Rulani had pressure from Pirates. Pirates dropped points. Right? The reason that gave Pirates more more confident to go towards this league is because they drop points, these guys, at a critical time in consecutive games, and then Sundowns Pirates went for it. If you check Pirates, they're playing with the same team OT over and over and over and over again. Because why? They're not playing in the Champions League. They've got more rest time. When they change, they don't change much. They only change Tito and this boy Ulenduku Apolis, or the striker Mbutuma, and that's it. The back line stays the same. The midfield stays the same. Everything is the same. But why they don't have enough pressure? Because trust me, they're gonna play in the Champions League. You will see what I'm talking about. They're not going to be dominant as they are now. The issue at Sundowns is the Champions League thing.
Yeah.
They played more games, and these guys, they never rested, by the way. They never rested, guys. They never even had a preseason. From the World Cup straight to the league. From the league, it's Bafana. Half of their players are playing in the Bafana camp. You only have 4 players that are playing in the Bafana in the for Pirates. Mahopa, Apolis, Rele, who else? CBC and China. Right? And CBC doesn't play. China doesn't play. So it means it's 3 players that are playing in the Bafana. But all Sundowns players are playing there. All selections the Sundowns are playing. Rowan plays. Mudau plays. Ulenduka Modiba plays. You've got Ulenduka Nai. Mokwena plays. How many is that? You've got.
That's it.
Reina's okay. Yeah, it's the but
Ah,
but that's the core,
because
OT.
okay,
That's the core.
what does
You
Pirates have?
core. Yeah.
What does Pirates have? They've got Moremi, they've got Mfukeng, they've got
Yeah,
Apolis.
Morenius. Yes.
Okay, Lau Foster takes the other spot. Do we still
Yeah.
count Mbogazi since he played some of these
No.
games?
We don't count that one. He's being benched now. Even he's weak there.
Okay, no, but for time, Tyler,
No,
very
OT.
quick, yeah.
It's a matter of schedules, man, and the matter of load of games. Pirates have more advantage than Sundowns. You know, even if I was them, I wouldn't really celebrate this title because really, guys.
There we go. Actually, you see, Moremi Mfukeng Bata Apolis.
Wow.
That's four.
They don't.
Sundowns has 5.
They don't play in the Champions League. Let them play in the Champions League, Baba. Where it matters.
Okay.
Let them play. You will see next season. OT. I promise you, they're gonna fall off next season because their squad is not built for that. They're a 4-day tournament team. That's why they're gonna win treble. Now they got more squad depth because they bought more players and they are able to win the league. Come next season, you will see.
No, for time, I'm gonna jump in. Let me go to Sipo, then I'll go to Karabo. Sipo, welcome. Are you with me, Sipo? Okay, Sipo.
Sure, brother team.
Oh, there we go. Sipo, Naindaba. Champions League, does it save Cardoso's job if he wins it? If he doesn't win it, do you still fire him?
Yeah, I think Champions League will save his job, like it did last season. I think last season, the only thing that saved his job was because of the CAF Champions League final and the Club World Cup.
Okay.
So-
Why is it changing this year? Why is it changing this year? Second final since Pitso?
Yeah, so it's a second final. So you're losing the league if you lose the league, because it's not yet concluded that Orlando Pirates has won. But yeah, anything can happen still. You'll never know. Miracles can still happen. Miracles can still happen,
No,
So
but I want to ask you, has Cardoso been a bad coach, or is some of these things system problems? Some people are talking about the scheduling. Other people are talking about Sundowns struggling when under pressure. It's just that the pressure was in a different place now. What do you think here? Is it just Cardoso, or are there questions that Sundowns must answer? Maybe even the PSL?
yeah, Cardoso is a good coach. He's a good coach. I feel he was affected with maybe the schedule of our games, and also he didn't have a proper preseason with the team. So he was faced with some of the challenges. But I think Coach Cardoso is a good coach. But I also have problems with his squad selection. He struggles with selecting the right players for certain games, because he's not getting the best out of the squad that he has. I think he's got a good squad, but he's unable to integrate some of the good players that he has in his position. But he struggles with to integrate. You look at the likes of Basadine, because he should have been there to help the team now, because you can see Mudiba is starting to struggle, or maybe you could see his legs was starting to give up. So this is where you needed to put the likes of Basadine to help in that left back position. So I feel he struggles to integrate some of the players in his plans.
Would you, if Cardoso were to stay, would you allow him, or would you be fine with him moving certain players on. So if he was to
Yeah,
come in next season and say, let's list them, Mudiba, Mokwena, Mudau, Ronwen out, would you back him to do that? As Rulani was backed with Bohlompo, Bo Dennis Onyango, Bo Charlie, would you allow him to do that and build his own team?
Yeah, I can back him, but I think it's too late now. For me, I've already judged him. For me, if it was, I had the decision, I wouldn't renew his contract, even if he wins the league and CAF Champions League. I wouldn't renew his contract for me.
Who would you bring in?
Yeah.
Who would you bring in?
Yo, the thing is, if we were looking for coaches, it would have been done by now. I would like to bring in Coach Pitso, but it's not possible at the moment. I need someone who's ruthless. I want someone who's more ruthless. I think Coach Cardoso, he's not ruthless enough. Like you can see, he does not have that hunger to take everything. Play to win each and every match.
Was he allowed to be ruthless? Did he have the room to
he was allowed. He was allowed. He is allowed. We are talking as if now his job is on the line right now, but no, it's not on the line. I think the president, the chairman, still backs him. I think he's going to win the CAF Champions League, but for me, I wouldn't renew his contract still.
Why?
He has not done enough. In terms of maybe he didn't have the time to do what he wants to do. I don't see him on the vision that Mamelodi Sundowns wants to achieve. He's not going to achieve that.
Okay. For time, people, I'm going to jump in. Guys, in the comments, who would you appoint if you get rid of Cardoso? Please let me know in the comments. Just type down some names there. I already see a Muscle Collar has been called there. I see a Fadlu Davis has been called there. Please let me know. Guys, for those who are requesting, we're still going to go. We're going to go. Karabo. Hewan.
Eta.
Welcome.
How are you?
Good job.
Now you're giggling.
I didn't
It's
know.
just me. It's just me.
Karamo, key question. Does Cardoso's job get saved by the Champions League? Should he still be fired or get rid of regardless?
Okay, I think I'm gonna be like this. Let's fix the question first before we go on with everything else. We are assuming that he's going to be fired.
I'm just saying, for the fans,
I know.
minds.
Even the fans may not think that way, but anyway, the question is not necessarily will he get fired. The question is, what has Cardoso done in terms of the vision of Mamelodi Sundowns? You know this because you talked about it a long time ago. Mamelodi Sundowns has gone from being a local brand to being a continental brand to being an international brand. When you talk about international brands, people are talking about playing 60 matches a season. They're not talking about 50 matches a season. They're talking about football directors and managers, not coaches. Cardoso is not managing Sundowns. If you understand what I mean, Cardoso is struggling to manage Mamelodi Sundowns. You look at, he wasn't brought in to start a project at Mamelodi Sundowns. Sundowns is not a team that was struggling. Sundowns was a team that needed to get over the line in terms of win the trophy. Not go and rebuild a squad. That's not something Sundowns as a club is looking at and saying, oh, please rebuild a squad for us. No. You're in the Champions League final, papa. Win the damn thing. That's why we brought you here. Now you come in, you lose all the domestic competitions, including the one that was like a give me. The league, you used to win the league with like 5 games to go. Now you're losing that.
But Pirates is having
It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter. That's why Sundowns is not a rebuilding project. If it was, you can argue like, hey, no, Pirates has rebuilt, Chiefs has rebuilt. Nobody's listening to that at Sundowns. They're looking at you like, no, bro. The league is the standard. The Champions League is the ambition. If you can't keep the standard,
No, I just wanted to ask you. But didn't they unknowingly step into a rebuild?
They did with him.
As a club, in the direction they're going, and the question I want to ask you is, can you go that rebuild route with the roots of old that haven't been able to do what you want to do? Do you think that maybe one of Sundowns' problems is that maybe they have clutched this thing?
Yeah, they probably did have clutch it, because what they did was they did look for a performance, like high-performing coach. They looked at the people around the continent who were in Champions League finals, and they were trying to win that. Inadvertently, they missed the part where, hey, you have to maintain the league standards. You have to try and win your domestic competitions. So they may have been looking so far ahead of themselves that they forgot, oh, by the way, our youth system brings up decent players. We need to maintain that. We need to fit these players into this team. Every 3 months or so, we need to be bringing in players so that we can keep our veterans fresh for winning the Champions League. Because trust, you're not going to win a Champions League with youth players. That you know how that goes. So what they missed was keeping their squad fresh enough with young enough players, or a bigger squad, as some people say, and then getting your veteran players to bring in the experience to be able to get you over the line of Nedbank, of Carling, of Champions League. So they may have inadvertently walked into it. Cardoso is not a bad coach. He cannot be a bad coach. At that level, there are not very many bad coaches. But I doubt.
So let me ask you, Kara, as Sundowns, let's say you're in charge of Sundowns. You know, there's calls to go back to what Sundowns quote unquote knew, giving Bobo Surprise Muriri bigger roles, maybe rolling back and bringing back Pitso in some capacity, doing those type of things, or do you continue on this path because, well, it's only a year and a half out?
A year and a half.
This new path that you've chosen.
Yeah.
Do they have the patience to do that? And can they stand if things go wrong?
All right. What you're asking is the right question. The problem is you're asking it when they've already messed the thing up.
No, I asked this 2 years ago, but it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, they've really messed the thing up, because what you're asking is, do they have the patience to not win the Champions League again in the next 5 years?
Or the league?
I don't think they do. Sundowns is not a rebuilding project. That's why I was saying there are parts of Sundowns that rebuild the first team. It is not the first team manager that rebuilds the first team. That's not. I don't think that's his job. But if Sundowns has to look at themselves, it's not necessarily a coaching issue, like you say. It's a systems issue where they may have looked too far ahead and missed the basics that they had put in place themselves, surprisingly, to get them to where they are. They could have gone, okay, let's bring back the older players, give them bigger roles, but at what level are you doing that?
Yeah.
Are you doing that at the high performance level, or are you doing it at a sort of B team level? I don't think his job is on. I personally don't think his job is on the line. I don't think so. I don't think they are going to try and rebuild with another coach, because if you get another coach next season, you have to. They're not about that life. They're about results, and they're probably gonna tell him in the meeting on after the 25th. You are either going to win the league, the Champions League, or a cup, or you are out. If he lasts 3 months next season, I'll be surprised.
Okay, no, Karamo. Thank you for joining.
No stress, man. Enjoy the show. Thanks for the show too, man.
This is someone who knows a lot. He's just not saying it now, but it's fine. Let me go to Hausa.
Hey, my brother, how are you?
Hey, Hausa. maybe, I don't know. I'm just enjoying football right now.
No, you guys must join us up there Cloud9, man. You know, Seremetse trophy fela again and they gone kanje.
Yeah. Let's go.
Uh,
Let's some say you don't come here and say these things and then reshabili
no,
draw
the,
mona.
the first 30 minutes, very quick, done. I'm putting it out there. The first 30 minutes. The other minutes, it's a very showboat. Really wants what dancing has in his tank.
Wa tseba Orlando ha ithutse re thula jwang go botlhoko jwang.
So it's a jalo OT. We're in good moods, man.
Speaking of good
Yes,
moods,
sir.
here's Cardoso. You know, people are calling for his head. There's been a lot of talks head. People are saying, oh, he's getting rid of Shoeshine and Piano. He's not a good coach. Rulani, da, 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 da. What do you think? Should they keep him? And does the Champions League make it a little bit easier for him to stay?
OT, I kind of asked that question in the group yesterday. Because I was looking at how, what's his name, Rulani. You know, he won the league but didn't win the Champions League and then he was gone. Sundowns, I like what Karabo said, man. He said a mouthful, which was, I'm going to echo everything he said because he said they are an international brand.
Yeah.
Right? When you speak of Africa, you bring up your Ahly, your Zamalek, and now Sundowns is in the mix.
Okay.
Right. So there's a standard that Sundowns have set. You know, as he said that the league is a give me and it's that one thing that you can guarantee from Mamelodi Sundowns to win.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, the coaches sometimes the way they behave, they can tell you how they will end the season. Right. These guys are always like he was complaining, man. You know, like there's an he was tatazeli now and then. There's a complaint here and here now. You know, those kind of stuff. Yes, it might be mind games, it might be all these things, but when you are in a close call, a chase with Orlando Pirates, you know, like they were in this season, there are people OT that I know who were like from let's say November they were like, no, Pirates is gonna win the league. You know, just by how Cardoso was presenting himself. And the rebuilding thing, they are right. Sundowns is not a rebuilding team. They have a winning formula. You add on to all.
Do they have a winning formula for what
I
they
think,
wanted to do?
I don't know what happened this season, but the way they are moving as one of those clubs, you know how I feel like a team that you can compare them to is your Ahly. You know how Ahly, when you start to lose 2 points there, you are gone. They want a coach who's going to maintain that number one position. You know, the tales we hear about them and all that. And I think Sundowns was on the road to do that. You know, 10 is it number 10 or is it number 9?
Number 9, yeah.
Yeah, but you can see the approach. Let me put it this way. You know when they say France, German, a farmers league, because of how how one team is consistently winning the league. You know, it kind of felt like that's where Sundowns wanted to go, right? So now I don't know what happened this season. Was it a lack of focus? Was it internal, or what happened? You know, but I do not think that, based on what they've done to Rulani, he should go. If he loses,
Mara Hausa, you're being unfair.
How am I being unfair? It's their standard.
You know,
they said, no Champions League, vamos.
You know what the difference is. You know what the difference is. Even Bopai and Liverpool Manchester City. There's that season where Liverpool gets 98 points or 100 points. You're like, yes, sis, how did this happen? Or Leverkusen goes unbeaten. They go invincible. And then following year, are we... I guess the question about... Okay, 2 questions. Are we being unfair in that sense? That even in Mamelodi Sundowns' most winning years of this league, in the last 5 years, there's never been a challenger. It's always been 9 points, 12 points, 16 points, 23 points. So even if Rulani was to slip, it still would end up with a win because there was no competitor. And this year, not only is the competitor, you're also doing the other thing that Mamelodi Sundowns hasn't been able to do, and that's Champions League final again. In all of the years that Manqoba, Coach Rulani, they weren't able to get to that place. So in terms of that, I mean, I said it when Rulani got fired that, Mara guys, Rulani, I didn't know this was a need for you guys like this. It feels like you're doing it now. Because if not, you would have done this a long time ago. And also, you are now watching a team that has never had to do this. This, whatever Cardoso is going through right now, has never been done.
Yeah, it has. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you know, OT, you mentioned something that these guys, and I think you were talking about on the pitch, that they do not know how to handle pressure. Even I was, you see how, like, the reason why this is even a conversation, it's because what you're saying, that they've never had a challenge or anything.
Yeah, a proper
you
one.
yeah. So now it's like everybody is panicking. Is it gonna be something that's gonna happen every season? Is it, they need somebody who's gonna come in and stabilize it, or they can give Cardoso that assurance that, hey, man, listen, stabilize this and we will work with you, right? But because of, I, as a supporter who's looking from the outside and see, man, these guys have a standard. You miss something, you're gone. So hence I'm saying, I'm bringing up Coach Rulani. It's the same thing. Now he won the league. If Cardoso loses the Champions League, he won nothing. Right? So is it something that Sundowns can sit with and say, you know what, last season we won nothing. We won nothing. We will go again. Right? And now, do they start the thing that Karabo was saying of Sundowns is not a rebuilding team. If they lose the Champions League, they're going to have to start looking at the players. Now it's gonna become that pressure. We need people who can deliver. So somehow they might go into that rebuilding mode. You understand?
Do we when we speak about this rebuild, Hausa,
Yes.
do we forget that Sundowns rebuilt internally a few times? Whether it be from the point of view of who was head coach and who was not head coach, from the point of view of the players that they moved out. I mean, they moved away league winners. When Rulani came in, Rulani remodeled that team for the Chameleon to work. He was the one who moved a lot of people out and in. Are we forgetting some of those things when we're discussing this Cardoso? Because I remember when Cardoso started, I asked the question 2 years ago, guys, when you hire this guy, will you keep Aboronwen and Nabumdao and Nabumdiba Nabumkwena? Not because they are bad players, but because they are not the coach's players.
Yeah. Utina, when we look at in this way, what Rulani did, he was doing that but still winning, right? When we look at what's happening with Sundowns right now, we see rebuild as what Pirates is doing. What Pirates, they did. Let me say, they did. And your Kaizer Chiefs are trying to do. We look at it from that lens. You see now, but you see that the constant losing and us being okay with, they are gonna get it right at some point. That's how we look at it, because they haven't won anything. Right. So if they were to win the league, and the Champions League, depending on how, there's that thing of, man, you know what, he wants Nasta number 3, so he needs his own people. But if he doesn't, it comes back with that thing. No, he's joining the other Soweto team now. Constant loses.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, Hausa, for time I'm gonna jump in, guys.
All right. No.
The only thing I'm saying. So when I did my video years ago, I said that Mamelodi Sundowns is in a very interesting space. Before they made this idea, they made the choice of removing Rulani and all of that stuff. They were at a crossroads because your local stuff has been working. Your local stuff, when it comes to the league, you are number 1, you are top, you are gone. Like everybody bows down to you. But then at some point you have to start analyzing this thing that you were doing and saying, guys, yes, we're dominating the league, but Lestasis Funayo is not quite getting there. So I said that they were at a crossroads where they needed to decide, and two things was going to happen. Number one, if you go down the road of being homegrown and you're staying with what you're doing, that can breed contempt at some point, because you're going to look at Coach Rulani and you're going to look at, okay, semi-final, quarter-final, semi-final, and you'll get tired of it because you'll have the same questions. But at least it'll be somebody who's inside, where people will look at him and go, yeah, he's our guy, he's inside, we understand him. The moment you go outside, now you're clashing also with feelings, because objectively, Cardoso's taken a step. Cardoso in the Champions League he's done twice what Mamelodi Sundowns has not been able to do since Coach Pitso. And even Coach Pitso, it had to be teams falling out and being disqualified and backdoor things for them to get inside, right? For them to get that opportunity. This guy's doing it straight, right? Also, in terms of points and things, again, you're fighting feelings on top of that, because in as much as Rulani was great, the tools he had did not do what the tools did with Cardoso. First year of Cardoso's reign, he breaks the wins record. I think he drew one game, he lost 3, and he won everything else. 24 games, I think it was, or 20 something. I'll check it out. But he set the wins record. He's got more points. He had the same points as Rulani's best season last year, and he's 5 points off of Rulani's best season right now, for example. And that 5 points is also contextual because, guys, Pirates has never done this. They've never, for the past 5 years, outside of the Chiefs, Coach Pitso, the gap was actually getting bigger. 9 points. It was 9 points, 16-23. Then I think it's 12-12. Sundowns has never had to deal at this point with that type of pressure. We've never seen it. Coach Rulani never had to deal with this. By now, they would have been playing the B team, because they would have been saying, no, Champions League, even the Champions League. By now, he would have been done. They would have been out in the semis, 3 weeks ago. So even from that point of view, I feel like when we speak about this thing, we speak about the previous football as if it was this winning football. It was the best football in the world. This guy comes and betters that football. Then he does the thing that you guys have not done. Then his assignment becomes, you have to do something that you've never seen in the league. We've never seen the Champions League and the league one in the same season. We've never seen it. I even did a video years ago. I was saying, guys, do you have to choose one? Do you have to choose one? Because chasing both of those, you're going to lose out. So are we also just, not to say that he's bad. I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm not saying that he's good, he should stay. What I'm saying is that the conversation that we're having, sometimes, man, it's like, for example, I'll give you a stupid example. Kaizer Chiefs right now has jumped 19 points from last season. They've never had this points tally in the last 5 years. They've gone 10 years trophy. Before there was 10 years trophy list before Nedbank Cup. So those two coaches are doing something that has never been done. The change from last season to this season, in terms of goals conceded, goals scored, points, everything is up. But then we're not having the conversation of, look, those guys are actually doing a good job. We're having a conversation of, should they be replaced? We must go find better. And this is where with Sundowns, it's very interesting, because now you look at that route and you go, Rulani was part of you. You get what I mean? It was part of you, son of the soil, Owetu. Very key part of Mamelodi Sundowns' identity was South African, local, built from within, mentor from within, give the guys chances from within. The moment you break away from that, now you have to deal with everything else that goes, Cardoso Asmazi. And the people we don't like have the highest ceilings. Middendorp finished second on the final day of the last day. It has not been repeated until this year. He finished the last day. But people would still want to call other people who have not done that to come coach the team. So anyway, sorry. Let me go to Montana. Montana, welcome.
Hey, how's it, Oti? Afternoon to the panel.
What do you say about this topic? Is Coach Cardoso done if he doesn't win the Champions League?
I think I think from my point of view, it will be done. I don't think that was the mandate of Sundowns, even though I was not there.
Yeah.
I think the mandate was for him to elevate Sundowns by winning CAF, which is automatically, by failing to do so for the second season, automatically you either resign or the club fire you. So I think Cardoso is not a bad coach. For me, he's never a bad coach. But I think it came to Sundowns in a time where Sundowns had a so more like father figure, a coach like Rulani. Hence, there are comparisons between those two. I think he's still living in the shadow of Rulani. Some faction of fans of Sundowns never accepted that Rulani is gone. Whatever good or bad that he did, it would always come back to Rulani. Rulani is that ex-girlfriend that
Your
did
true
you
love.
bad.
He was your true love.
Yeah, your true love. Your true love, but
But she
you
cheated.
broke up with. Yeah, it cheated on you, but you every girlfriend now you find, you always compare this Bambangi Lerato used to cook for me. In Rulani, it's something like that. So Cardoso, even I think he is not also getting the support from the players. If you look at Rowan Williams, are not the same Rowan Williams that were when Rulani was there. The atmosphere, even from the players, is not the same. Hence, people will come and say Rulani, Cardoso is not playing Shushan and Priyan, which is overshadowing his philosophy, his own philosophy. Whereas the Sundowns faithful are still looking for that ball, Rulani. Maybe there are similarities, and people are coming up with his stats, which is proving that Cardoso is not a bad coach, but because he's still living in the shadow of Rulani, some people are not accepting him as a new Sundowns coach, that he should implement his own philosophy. Hence, we are having this disagreement about who's better and who's better, but the stats are there. And I've been saying, but once you don't get support also from the players, but we saw even at some point when this guy came, Sundowns, there were players who were suspended, starting from Umanqoba. I meant when Umanqoba took over from Rulani, it started there. The players didn't accept Umanqoba as their coach. Hence, there were even players that were suspended from Sundowns. There comes Cardoso coming with his own team and his own philosophy. Same things, I think it continually happens, but we turn the blind eye on that. Hence the guy, now we've been comparing these two coaches, and in case nobody wants to hear him. Not that to me he's also a good coach, but either he's not also a bad coach. It's that is only getting the support to the management. The rest are not giving the support, including the players and some faction of the fans to Sundowns. So everything that good that he does, it will always come back to that question: who's better? Why is doing this? Why is doing that? So I think it would be for best for him to leave Sundowns for his career.
So Montana, where does Sundowns go from here? Because now Gubalahle, their thing that they were doing internally, let's say, now they're finding problems ngale international route that they wanted to take with technical directors and all of that. where does Sundowns go?
It will be difficult for any coach. It's in South Africa, this thing of technical directors, it's something that we are not used to. Hence, it's Sundowns has had a disagreement with Rulani. I think it's one of those issues that made Rulani left Sundowns. We are not familiar with this new thing of having people that decide who to sign, who to let go, and all those stuffs. So it's like it's taking away the control of the team. Whereas somehow we need to find a common. South African teams need to find a common ground or coaches where they will start to work with the directors. We've seen go Arsenal, where there's directors like Vert, or they will sit with the coach. All those things and the scouters. So until we find that common ground, because I think there's also something of egos. Too much egos can ruin something good, even though someone maybe on this other side will be right. But once there's some ego inside, but because we saw now sometimes it's very congested. When you don't know what to do, sometimes you bring people that are not even in line to what you are doing. We're seeing Sundowns each and every match. Kuko no or Morere, a lot of people that are sitting there with Uhlopi, and you feel like maybe if you can have those guys, they can help the team. But at the end of the day, it's not helping. You need to start afresh, to sit down. Many people will never solve a problem that is deep. You need to sit down and find the root of what brought you is Sundowns to where it is today, which is fans are throwing water from a director, and some are stopping are blocking the bus. So they need to go back and find the roots of what is causes. And there are rumors that someone is leaking information to a opposition team. So those things, I think they are starting eternally before they put fingers from people outside. So they need to start internally and find those solutions there.
For time, Motaung want to jump in. Shout out to Mr. Venom Baba on YouTube. Thank you for the super fan. I've never had a super fan. 35 Rand. Thank you for the gift on that side. Mr. Venom Baba says Cardoso said they could have had their best points tally if they had won the last game. So he's saying he has improved them in a way. Pirates were just so good this season. That is what Mr. Venom Baba is saying there on YouTube. Shout out. Thank you so much for the super fan. Wow. Hey. Hi, man. Since I'm not allowed to get gifts this side. Okay. Look, I think it's a very interesting conversation to have, because for me, one of the biggest things that you have to ask at Mamelodi Sundowns is, again, what was the overall plan here? Was the overall plan to have a technical director and then have coaches come in and out? You know, Ahly doesn't change its board of directors that much, but they bring in the guys who they feel are going to come in. You're not necessarily the person who paints the car, who picks whatever, or drive. You drive for 2 years, then we take it back and we give it to somebody else. Is that the way they were trying to go? Especially after coming from years and years of, you know, Coach Manqoba was there in the beginning with Coach Pitso. I think it was one of Coach Pitso's first hires. Coach Rulani also has the Champions League medal from that time, because he's been with the club for so long. And when the club has been there for so long, can you look back to people that haven't done it? Can you look back to people and say, you know, surprise Moriri can be technical director? You know, you could ask the question, okay, what happens? How do you know what we're talking about here if you never did it, right? Those type of things. But anyway, let me go to Hansel.
Mr. George Okon.
For time.
How are you, my brother?
I'm good, my brother. Welcome. I'm sure Uchable. Yo, I'm sure the happiness.
Yeah. I'm also outside the country. I'm here at the airport at Mabopane.
Hey, I want to join you, but my passport is not passporting for Mabopane, man.
Next time, Mr. Oti, next time. Don't worry. I'll take you with.
Aeroplane patela toll gate. There, that's fine.
Ah, yeah. Um, yeah, I'm excited for the season how it came about. When it comes to the issue of Cardoso, Mr. OG, right?
Yeah.
I think it will all be dependent on the overall ambition of the team. Did they bring the coach to go to finals, to take them to back finals, or for him to come and actually win the grand prize, right? And also, whatever the mandate was and the years of the project that they gave him, are you given 3 years to win this thing? Are you given 2 years? If you win it earlier, then it's a bonus or all those kind of stuff. That's how basically I see it. For him, and being a bad coach is not, but I think he came to Mamelodi Sundowns a little bit underprepared because I think the same thing was said by Hauser, the same thing was said by Okarabo with no man. This guy, he came into an international brand, right? These people, they've been in the CAF Champions League for like the past 9 or 10 years, right? Consecutively so. So when you are coming, you already know, okay, you're coming to a South African league that has maybe 3 or 4 domestic cups in a season, right? There will be international breaks also. There is AFCON, there is a World Cup, all those kind of stuff. So you have to think ahead. You have to plan ahead. Or okay, if we are going to have these kind of stuffs, how do we best prepare? Because we are going to be playing in the CAF Champions League. There will be FIFA breaks for AFCON or whatever for international friends and everything. How do I now come and say, with so much schedule that is overpacked, with an overkill of fixtures and whatever, you come and say, no, I can't work with a bigger squad. Right. For me, that seems like a person that was not really prepared for whatever role that he was taking, because now you can't take 10 players to go and fight, maybe to go and play 60 matches. No, that can never work. Obviously, there will be travels. You're not playing in your home game. You're not playing in your home ground always. You have to travel. You have to use flights. Players will be tired. Players will be jet lagged. There will be injuries and all those kind of stuffs, right? So for me, it seems like there was a little bit of unpreparedness, or maybe did not think of how big the task was gonna be. But basically, that's about it.
Do you think Sundowns also underestimated it maybe? As a club, do you think that, the move that they made, coupled with the World Cup, coupled with the AFCON, coupled with no preseason, then they lose Ribeiro, then I don't think they had enough proper time to go and sign players and do those type of things. Do you think that the club itself also underestimated it? And with everything that's done, do you still not see it as a win that in Pirates' best season, it came down to the last 3 games. It was still in their hands. Fine, they lost those games, the 2 games. Oh, they lost the games. You're still playing in a CAF Champions League final that you're going to. Do you think that Sundowns was not prepared for those outcomes? That if you go directly for the Champions League, can people live without the league type of thing? I don't know if you get me.
Yeah. Oh no, I do get you, Mr. Oti. Yeah, I think they prepared poorly. I don't think they thought about everything in a sense. They just thought, no, we'll just wing it. We'll cross the bridge when we get to it. But given that they made a few signings, also you'd think maybe they were trying and fix that gap that maybe they created. Maybe saying no, they want to trim a bit of the squad, but bringing new players that have never played in those sort of conditions, it's a chance. The player is either gonna come and fit in the team, or they're gonna come in and try to adjust for a few months. And then in that few months, what is going on? The league and the Champions League, everything is going on. Nothing. There's no Champions League that's gonna wait for your player to adjust to the conditions, right? So time is going on. So for me, I feel like they prepared for half of it, not all of it. They didn't see the bigger picture in this instance, and I think they could have prepared better because they've been in the Champions Leagues for the longest of time.
Let me ask you something as a Paganeya. Do you think that Nebanyatsitse League and Pirates did something that maybe they weren't expecting to?
With that, I'll answer with a resounding yes. They were complacent. You see, when you get to do something with much ease, you tend to feel like it's no longer worth putting in the work, right? I used to be an athlete. I used to play soccer. I'm sure you know that. There would be times where they'll be like, let's go running. I'll be like, I can run. I'm the fastest in the team. Why do I need to run? But at the end of the day, when you're going to play the match, I'm going to feel it. No, I did not practice enough, right? So I think that was something that was in the back of the head. Or no, we are always winning this thing 8 times in a row. And most of the team that is coming second, there's only number 2. There's no number 3. There's no number 4. Because number 2, the gap is 13 points, and the gap between number 1 and number 3 is 25 points. So you see, there's no number 3 actually. I think that's one of the things that affected them in this instance, and Paris put a lot of more pressure. Yeah, and also I heard you talking about the issues of coaches that we can suggest, right?
Yes.
I think there's a guy called Carlos Ibenge. I don't know if that's the correct.
Yeah. Florence.
Yes, Florence Ibenge. Yes. And also there's a guy called Marco Rose from Germany. But that one I think is more suited to the playing style of Orlando Pirates, because he likes working with youth and senior players. He likes integration. So yeah. But Florence Ibenge, I think he would be a coach for Sundowns, because he have worked in Africa for the longest of time, and he has won. I think he has won, or he has went to the final of the Champions League a few times. I think that is the standard now at Mamelodi Sundowns. You should have played this Champions League, went to the final or something like that for you to be a coach. Yeah, but basically that's about it. I think. Yeah.
For time, Ansel, for time.
Which time? I've been requesting, you have not been taking me. I'll talk
time.
Sure, my brother.
Thank you, Ansel. Kodani, are you good? Are you situated now? Are you okay?
Mr. Oti, I'm very well. Can you hear me loud and clear now?
Now I can hear you perfectly. I can hear you perfectly now.
All right, that's good, man.
You know the question.
I know the question, and I'm gonna start again from what I was saying before the network does its things. So, first thing first. Let me just say this thing. If Klopp is listening to me, please give Cardoso another 3-year contract, please. All right, let's start here, Mr. Oti. Is Cardoso a bad coach? In my opinion, no, he's not a bad coach. He's a very good coach. It's just that the time he came to Sundown, it was like Montana said, he came in a wrong time.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about this season, Mr. Oti. From the get-go, where we didn't have a pre-season, we went to Club World Cup. After Club World Cup, we go, I think 2 weeks. And then we started with M10-8 and the league started and all those things. And look at the Pirates run. Pirates didn't have any pressure of playing CAF. So Sundown have that thing where we've been winning league for 8 years. So once we get to certain points, 65, 70, it's done. We're winning the league. Yeah. So normally we're going to put league on cruise control. We'll be driving 120. We know we're going to get to that a point. Then what is Sundowns looking for? It's CAF. We've been looking for CAF Cup for a very long time. Yeah. We wanted to conquer Africa. Like we want to be top there with Ahly, Zamalek and experience. So now what do? We get someone who's going to give us that CAF. And Cardoso, he have proven that he might be the one. He went to the final first season. Unfortunately, he didn't get it. This is his second season. He's in the final. If he wins it, why not give him another 3 years? Because now you have a coach that can give you CAF. If he goes to the final 2 times in a row, what's stopping him to go to the final next year? Plus next year, Ahly will not be in the CAF. So it might happen that we go to CAF final again next season with him, Cardoso. So I know people, they hate Cardoso because Rulani was fired. I don't know. I still don't know if he was fired because he didn't win CAF or maybe there were some issues between him and Flemingbeck. So at this point, we don't know if Rulani was fired or they just decided to let him go because of that a beef between him and. So for him to say no, because
alleged beef.
Yeah, alleged
Those
beef.
are then you added some words. Hey, Mahara, don't get me into trouble.
So okay, sorry, allegedly. So for people to come for Cardoso's head because he lost a league, I don't think it's fair because right now I wouldn't mind to lose league for a CAF, which is what we really need at this moment. Yes, we need to give credit also to Pirates. Check Pirates. Pirates broke their own record for points, broke their own record for goals. Sipochane broke the clean sheet, best clean sheet in the PSL. So Pirates deserve to be given credit. They deserved it this season to be champions.
Do you think that some of the sentiment from Masandawana is not necessarily about Cardoso, but because of the unfairness or perceived unfairness of how Rulani was gotten rid of? And maybe they're taking it out on Cardoso, but management should be questioned.
Exactly. That's what is happening. The way Rulani left, like, I think almost all of us were shocked. Like, Rulani is gone. Like, I was also shocked that Rulani is gone.
He
Like,
was also shocked, apparently.
yeah, like everyone was shocked because we lost one game by the last game of the season. He almost did invincible, and then next thing is gone. So that doesn't make sense. So people have still had that. Like someone said it, or he was like a father figure and all those things. So even when Cardoso came to the team, surely maybe half of the team didn't gel well with him. Like sometimes you could see Sundown was playing, or this is not Sundown that plays under Rulani. Like those boys, they will fight or die for Rulani in the pitch. Like I'm telling you. And then Cardoso had to come with that. Like they had to blame everything on him. So I think also if maybe people give him chance, even players maybe like said, all right, it's fine, it happened, it's football. Rulani is gone. So now we have a new coach. So let's just gel with the new coach and play for the coach, because this is football. People, players come and go, coaches come and go, but the club will remain.
For time, I'm going to jump in. Shout out to Mtwagazi04 on YouTube. 10 Rand super fan. Hey guys, yeah, man, go YouTube. Thank you guys so much on that side. Thank you for the support. All of the support is welcome. Yeah, so before I let in Prachomo, look, that's what I was asking also, that sometimes it feels like in South Africa, and a bigger question maybe for the comments, guys, do you think that sometimes we get angry at the people, but we don't get angry at the team? And maybe because we're not used to technical directors and all of that type of stuff, we tend to take our anger and throw it at a coach. Abasainang am a player, Cardoso's the one, or Abasainang am a player, the two translators are the people, or Bafaru coach Besimtanda, so therefore we're going to take that thing and put it on the new coach. Does that exist? Or am I just making this up there in the comments? Let me go to Prachomo. Prachomo, welcome.
Hey, well, hi, how are you, Oti?
Kimnati Prachomo, Kimnati. Hey,
Yeah.
Pirates have Vurvaya about two man.
It's got so. Now I've got, yeah. Analwena ratsi barabona jwang akere. We won't say it here.
Prachomo rinka tabe man.
I've got news for you. Got news for you. Number one, I'm a Sundowns fan. I'm no more Chiefs fan. Yeah, ke vaile na ko ele hele ba tshwarisa di supporter kwa nature and I left. So I'm a Sundown fan. For one thing, I love football, not brands. Only brand is dula le brand ya. Yeah, coming to Cardoso, my brother. Cardoso, I think they must keep him. Nekmametse Klopp, when he spoke, I think he saw what was happening.
Okay.
You understand that? That's why he did it with calmality and with so much respect, naming everyone out of respect because of he knows what they should do. Obviously, they need more squad like they used to. You understand? I think they thought having so many players, it was confusing and all that, but they can see they were channeled to a certain tunnel where they couldn't move. You understand? But now they're playing CAF, but they finished to play domestic leagues, whilst others are left with 2 games. It can tell you. Now they know what to do. You understand? I think they need to support him. The supporters, they need to support Cardoso as well. I think he's got a lot to offer the team. You understand? Especially with the experience that he has learned in our domestic league, especially this season. This season, he has learned a lot. He saw that it's not only in the pitch, there are a lot of things. So he must make sure that he cover all the ground in terms of there's nothing that they can throw to his team that they cannot stand for. They must enhance their squad not by releasing any player. They must have a big squad like they used to. Because of now, you look at what is happening now. Most of their players are banned, ne? And I'm so worried about World Cup. I mean, I saw their left back yesterday. He made over 8 crosses, but the ball on him email, I was like a 10-year-old trying to cross that ball. You understand? Because of his bent, we know what he can do, but it's because of his bent. He played too much football. The sad part on the on this mix, we're going to see certain players whom we think they are on form on World Cup. They'll be facing a real football.
Yeah.
They won't be having this free shooting as if it's a free kick while the ball it's on motion. You understand? That's when we're going to see which players we have and which players we don't have. I'm supporting the coach. I believe in the coach. I believe in Sundowns because of I can see in their eyes they know where they went wrong, and obviously they're type of a team that they can solve the problem because of they are all about football, not other things.
But Choma, can I ask you just on that question, just on that topic you're speaking about, with the things that happen off the pitch?
Yes.
Do you think that the PSL should be looking into these complaints? Should they be looking into dates? Should they be looking into the ground? Should they be putting the teams that are in the Champions League and things like that ahead of other teams in certain respects?
No, those things they were all done deliberately to disorganize Sundowns. They were obvious things. I mean, yeah, allegedly, allegedly, you understand. But they were allegedly disorganized. Those are not things that they need a table to talk about. You understand? It's one guy who just have to wake up one day and say, I'm stopping this, I'm allowing football to carry on. That's all. You understand? And leave all these shenanigans of politics and mafia things in our football.
Okay, no, Pranjombo, before you get me into trouble.
Yes, but they know. Others, they must celebrate. It's fine. Congratulations to them, Shem. We won't say much, but we know. We know. They mustn't talk too much. We know.
Thank you, Pranjombo.
Shabra, Uchuriko stuff.
Okay, before I go to Mhlave, there's a comment here on Facebook that says from Sipa, says you are out here saying credit where is due to him. Pitso can do a better job than Cardoso. Even if he wins CAF, he must go. Guys, okay, here's my thing. Very simple. And I think I'm not necessarily Cardoso fan, guys. I just don't like unfairness. Coach Pitso got to one final and he won it. He did incredibly well. Whether he can carry on and do it now, we don't know. But what you can't do is take away that now this man has done twice what you've only ever done once. And even carrying all of the things that your previous coach complained about on top of other things, still, it takes a miracle season. Guys, Pirates has done, what is this season? Pirates has shugumisat the league in a way that we have not seen the league shugumisat. Because, guys, all of these questions don't exist. They've never existed for the other coaches. Even the Champions League, they've never twice. Coach Rulani was practicing for the Nedbank Cup right now. Right now. He'd be practicing for the Nedbank Cup. He would have been out of the Champions League 4 weeks ago. Or however long it was, the semi-finals, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Would have been done. There would be no fixture congestion. There would be no, hey, guys, do this. Pirates, just for clarity's sake, Pirates, in the season, they made it to the semi-final. Jose left. He left Pirates with, I think, 3 or 4 games left. He was like, guys, Aksena next. Ngiyahamba mina ngiya Egypt to show you how different it was. So again, credit to Pirates because hey, Pirates is shaking the tree and making people ask questions. But anyway, let me go to Mhlave. Mhlave, long time, man.
Hey, Mr. OT, how's it, my brother?
Long time, long see, man.
Yeah, Manish. Yeah, it's that time of the season again, OT. Things are happening.
What do you think of this conversation we're having?
Hey, OT, you don't have timing, man. We just lost the league, and then when you come here and ask us if Cardoso must be given another chance, we don't know this pain, OT.
Mathematically.
OT, we don't know this pain. You must remember we don't know this pain. It's been 8 years been winning this thing, so we still new in this pain thing. So we don't know how to act. We don't know what to say in these spaces. We don't know what to say in the internet. So it's hard for us, OT. And then when you come and then you ask us if Cardoso must stay, man, OT, your timing,
you have
it's
to
not
ask
make
in
sure.
the tough moments, or else you'll ask when there's no time.
OT. So here's my take on this thing. It's out of Cardoso's hands. This thing, Cardoso, if he wins the Champions League or doesn't win the league, the Champions League, I don't think he will stay because there's external pressure. There's fans who don't want Cardoso. So even if he wins the Champions League, I don't think he's gonna stay. Because remember, I was even supposed to go on January, but then apparently it didn't go. But then now that he lost the league, even if he win the Champions League, I don't think he will go due to pressure from the fans. And it's unfortunate. This is not how we Sundowns supporters behave in terms of demanding the coach to go. But then I have to say, OT, after the Rulani departure, our club has been divided. We've never been united since Rulani left. So Cardoso, unfortunately, is the victim of that. That the supporters are divided due to that Rulani departure. So it's not really because of Cardoso is a bad coach or anything, but then it's politics, it's division amongst the support base. So it's tough. I feel sorry for Cardoso, man. He's a very, very good coach. You don't go to 3 Champions League back-to-back finals by fluke. It shows that he's a very, very, very good coach. It's just unfortunately he came to Sundowns at a time whereby the support base are destabilized. There's division. There's Rulani fans, there's Mangoba fans, there's now Cardoso fans, and also Utopi is not standing his ground. We hear him, but then we don't hear him. I don't think we give him that much respect that he deserves. That we're supposed to give it to him. Some fans undermine the chairperson, but then it's really sad for Cardoso. Me personally, I would love him to stay, but then I don't see him staying even if he win the Champions League, of which I know and I pray that he does win it. He deserves to win this Champions League, more especially for his CV, for the next employer, for him to say at least I went to 3 final and then I won 1. So he also deserves this Champions League as much as we supporters want this Champions League. So I'm hoping football gods are on our side and Cardoso's side, and we win this thing, team.
Is there a risk? Is there a risk right now where Sundowns is right now? Because it feels like everything is on the balance.
What do you mean there's risk?
Like it feels like I'll put it like this. When let's do 2 coaches, Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
It felt like the team was on a, it had been held by this tradition and culture for a very long time, and some of them are still trying to find themselves right now. Do you think that Sundowns could fall that way, or is it something that can be handled now?
Hey, Uti, I can't hear you now. My network is taking here.
Okay, I know. Let me let you go for network sake. Let me let you go for network sake. I can hear the echo. Just check it in the comments, guys. Can you hear me properly? Then I'm gonna bring in guys. Yeah, we're gonna finish at 6. I'm gonna bring in a couple of people here, and yeah. So for the comments, I'm asking that question: that is there a risk here that Sundowns is on the brink? And that crossroads I was speaking about, where it's either you stick with your traditions or you go with something new. Sometimes it can throw you off. Sometimes you'll find something. Other times it takes you a while. Like Arsenal took a little bit of a while to get back on their feet, even though maybe they're the wrong example, but it took a little bit of a while for them to get back to their feet. Others have been struggling. Others hire coaches immediately and they work out. Let me go to Andile. Andile, welcome.
How's it, Mr. OT?
No, I'm good, my brother. I'm good. Where do you sit on this topic, man?
Yeah, I think it's a very strange discussion, and it's a very strange line that we sit on in terms of like the way we perceive performance at Cardoso over his period at Sundowns, because the numbers are there, right? And you've mentioned this, and we see that, okay, just purely based on the numbers, he's been an improvement from previous coaches. And so what then that tells me is that as fans are more in love with the narrative than just the pure statistics of it. And the narrative of Rulani, the narrative of Pitso is more it's more compelling for the fans. Yeah, we want that story of a local coach went out into continental football and they got to a semi. They didn't win. They got to a semi-final, but it was a local coach that did it. And so that's more of a storyline that we want to align with, in the storyline of a foreign coach coming in and losing in a final, for example, even though we haven't gotten there before. So for me, yeah, so I think that's what's happening to the fan base of Sundowns fans. But for me, I think Cardoso has been a major improvement in terms of Sundowns, because you also have to look at things in context. And we can't run away from the fact that, like, even if you look at Pirates, right now Pirates fans are ecstatic, but Pirates are knocked out in the preliminary phase of the CAF Champions League. Yeah. So you can even ask the question whether last season Pirates, and you compare it with this season, which season has been better? Because last season they were 12 points behind, but they were second, Sundowns, but they were also in the semi-final of the Champions League and had a really good chance of winning it. Yeah. So they were chasing two trophies, two major trophies, probably the biggest ones. And in this season, they only basically focused on one trophy, apart from the cups. Don't even want to count that. You could count that. But my point is that for maybe half of the season, from January onwards, Pirates only had to worry about the league, whereas Sundowns had two things to be concerned about, which is Champions League, which is a massive difference. That in and of itself is a huge difference. And for Sundowns to be able to ride it out for this long and be in the Champions League final and lose on the last 2 weeks of the season, it's still I still think they had an amazing season. I just think Pirates were just really good. Or they improved in terms of their consistency this season as opposed to last season in the league. So for me, I don't think Cardoso should leave. I just think that my only concern is the squad rotation is affecting him. I don't think he has really utilized all of his resources maximally. I think there's certain types of coaches, right? There's coaches who are good with players, like one-on-one. Like I can develop this player, I can grow this player. And then there's coaches who need players who are going to fit into a system and understand what they need to do without the coach having to sort of hold your hand through that. And I think Cardoso is the latter. Whereas a guy like Rulani players will talk about him affectionately and say Rulani was like a father figure, or Rulani was like a someone who guided me and grew me as a player. And I think Cardoso doesn't have that. It comes across to me that he doesn't have that attribute, because you don't see a lot of players improve under Cardoso, who were not maybe necessarily like looked at before. The only name I can name is maybe Jaden Adams, to be very honest. I think outside of that, it's players that were doing well before even Cardoso arrived, who were mainstays in the team, and continue to be that on Cardoso's arrival. Because if I'll make an example, why haven't we seen more of Obas, for example? Obas, you look at Obas and Dunyela, they played against Nigeria, had really good games. They go back to Sundowns and they never get game time ever again. They barely ever get any game time. So for me, that seems weird and off to me a little bit, you know? I understand the players not fitting into a system properly, but at the same time, these players are players with high potential. There's surely something that you can unlock in them to allow them to compete with the guys who start regularly. And I think they miss that element, where that competition element within the
Was that
team.
element there for real at Sundowns? Because, you know, you're mentioning players. I'm thinking about Bon Maema, Bon Bule. You know, I'm thinking about many Sundowns players who hardly got a look by Rulani even. And even when Rulani started complaining about fatigue, he still wasn't really rotating. And, you know, I don't think Cardoso's done less, because he did play Bolitlaku earlier in the season. He did play Bomkulise at times during the season. He's tried Bo Pasadine. They've come in and maybe not worked out. Bo Mutiba have gotten game time. So as Bo Shalulile towards the end. Isn't this just institutionally a Sundowns problem? Because they always complain about the same thing at the end of the season. I don't see a difference in Cardoso's complaints than what Rulani was complaining about.
I think that there's a fundamental difference that I see, right? And when you look at a big club that speaks of squad depth, you're talking about a club that can bring on players and change the outlook of the game, and bring an impact. And I think Pirates, for example, have managed to do that. But with Sundowns, it almost feels like the coach is relying on his first 11, and then if he runs out of ideas, then he brings on substitutes. And I think it doesn't feel strategic. It feels desperate, more so. In past times, I think I can only remember, my memory fails me a little bit, but I can remember the time of like Pitso would do Anthony Lafort. I remember he would bring on Anthony Lafort, and Lafort would bring in so much impact into the game. And I think Sundowns don't really have that currently. And I think the other thing around the nostalgia thing, right? You remember under Rulani, and there were times where Sundowns would go away to North Africa and win 3-0. And I think that made a massive impact on how we felt about Sundowns, because it was like you went to North Africa where every team struggles, and you went and got 3 points and dominated. And I think currently the Sundowns that we see, it's not necessarily dominating, but it's getting results when it needs to. I mean, even if you look at the journey through the Champions League, it hasn't been smooth. There's been times where under Rulani, the Champions League journey has been smooth up until they got into the semi-finals, and then they would be favorites, and then they'd basically buckle under pressure in those semi-final games. And I think people miss the identity of Sundowns of dominating in terms of chances created as well as possession. Now we're seeing possession, but in the back line. But somehow you'll get like a Leon who'll squeeze a goal through or whatever, or we'll get a good goal. But the number of chances, I feel like the number of chances that they create now is not as high maybe as like during the time of Rulani. For me, I don't see Sundowns creating a lot of chances in Champions League games.
The funny thing is they score more now. They've got more possession in dangerous areas according to the stats. And even back then, I mean, I remember when you spoke about Pitso's time, I remember everybody used to complain about Pitso and say Pitso's signing every single amazing player and he's putting them on the bench, and you never see them again. Similar to Bo, even in Rulani's time, Mbule. Okay, Mbule had the drinking thing. Bo Otladisa. Like there were a lot of players that never even got a look under Rulani. Is it? I don't know. Is it? Even besides that, yes, fine. We may see Rulani's game as being dominant, but this is winning, and that a lot of times I remember games where Mendieta was coming off the bench last minute because Rulani was complaining about low blocks, and they'd be crossing the ball, and they'd look for that one cross, he scores, he goes home. Are we, man?
Yeah,
Are
but that's
we,
what I'm saying.
are we being
I'm not
fair?
I'm not saying, I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to basically diagnose why fans feel like Cardoso is a downgrade from what we've had in the past. I just think it's based on the nostalgia of the type of football that was played under Rulani and how it resonated with fans, whereas Cardoso is more practical and it's showing more results as a consequence of that. And I think that's where the fundamental difference is in how people are feeling. But of the facts of it, Cardoso has been an improvement, and that is clear to see. Because, like I say again, we lost the best player in the league.
Yeah.
They lost the best player in the league. They had to fill that position unexpectedly. You know what I mean? And they still managed to achieve what they've achieved. That's massive. Imagine Pirates had to lose Umofokeng before the start of a season, and they have to figure out what solutions to come up with. Every Pirates fan will be making the excuse now of saying like, "Hey, but we lost Mofokeng." So I'm on board. I think we're being very harsh on Cardoso, and I think, like I said, the only reason I'm saying why fans feel the way they feel, it's a nostalgia thing and it's a resonation thing of we're not resonating with the philosophy of the coach.
Okay. I see Agent.
Yeah.
Agent, are you going to be on at 6 o'clock? Guys, 6 o'clock, we're going to shift over to Agents Live. Let me go
Quick
to
one, last one, quick one. I have an
Very
announcement. I just want to make an announcement. Under 17 AFCON Senegal versus South Africa tomorrow at 5 p.m. It's important for us to watch developmental football because the players don't just spawn out of anywhere. They come from grassroots.
Okay, no.
Yeah.
It was a good announcement. It was a good one. Let me go to Z. Z, welcome. What do you think of what we're speaking about?
Yo, Mr. OT, how are you?
I'm good at you, my brother.
I'm good. Firstly, I'm a Sundowns supporter. Yeah, I just wanted to put that aside. I feel as people we need to stop analyzing football like the feelings.
Okay.
You understand? Because if you check, nobody is speaking about each and every team that has played in the Club World Cup. The only consistent team is Bayern Munich. And recently they were also struggling. And putting all the blame on Cardoso and all that, it's a bit unfair because of this season was just not a normal season. And thinking Hore Sundowns deserves the league, that's a bit of that's nonsense for me because of once you feel like you entitled to something, then it's a problem. Even Real Madrid this season they don't have a cup. You understand? So these things do happen in football, and Mina, I won't blame anything else other than it was just a hard luck kind of thing. And back in 2016, when we won the Champions League, we got knocked out of the MTN 8. We also didn't win the league that season. Vert won the league. So there's still a lot to play for. You understand? So I feel that sometimes we need to put our feelings aside and analyze football and understand it before we can make our judgments or would the coach has to be fired and all that. Because everyone could see everyone at Sundowns, the players were trying, but unfortunately luck wasn't on our side, and we got too comfortable into winning things and having that mentality to we belong, and there was no competition. Honestly, in the PSL there was no competition for Sundowns.
So, Mina, that's my understanding. I don't know what's your opinion on that.
What do you say to people that say Sundowns made it clear when they parted ways with Rulani that the Champions League was the most paramount thing? And if they started that tradition, if they started that standard with Rulani, for example, surely then they need to continue with the standard and say, listen, you got us to the final last year, we hear you. This year we want to win it, but if we don't win it and also the league is not there, you've got nowhere to hide.
I'm gonna say this allegedly, ne? Rulani allegedly, Rulani. One of the reasons he got fired, was because of Thembikosi Lodge, and because of Thembikosi Lodge's behavior, and Sundowns didn't want Thembikosi Lodge to come to Sundowns, but Rulani emphasized allegedly, ne? And then secondly, how many times did Rulani lose in the semi-finals of the Champions League, whilst he knows that Sundowns value the Champions League even more. That is why they didn't even fire Cardoso when there was some things going on in Sundowns, because of they knew that the most important thing was Sundowns, the Champions League.
Okay.
You know, that's the second star. And this guy got us to a second final now in a row. So I feel that some of the supporters are being too harsh for nothing. And this thing is soccer, guys. No one would have thought Uguti Arsenal will end up winning the league this season after Man City has signed a lot of good players. You understand? So these things do happen. This is football. Around lento lena. Ina makona. I palangwa guti Sundowns guys. Let's take it with a pinch of salt and move on. Mina simple.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
thank you, Z. I'm looking in the comments. I'm seeing Mike saying Black Leopards till I die. Black Leopards is out of the NSL. Black Leopards is the TDLers are trying to sue. Well, not trying to sue. They're trying to get the league to replay 3 games so that they can stay in. I believe last year they bought a status Ziawa. Let me go to Tyler T. Tyler T, welcome.
Molo Mr. X, Mr. Sorry, but solo Mr. Mr. O.T.
Mr. X.
Open Shapu. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Tyler, where do you sit with this thing?
Sorry, man. Sorry, man. First things first, I'd like to say hello, Mr. OT. Hello to the panel and people in the comment section and the people listening in. So, Mr. OT, let's be honest for a second. Let's say, for instance, Mamelodi Sundowns were waiting for a report card from. They were about to issue out a PSL. PSL as in general was going to issue out a report card for leading in Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah.
Previously, we knew Mamelodi Sundowns as a Previously, we knew Mamelodi Sundowns as a team. Like, let's say, for instance, the subject was your Nedbank Cup. Let's start with the MTN 8. Let's say you knew like they got 76%. They only were behind the top achiever of that subject, being Orlando Pirates, right? You understand that one.
Yeah.
Let's look at the second the second trophy that who's this Mangwabamniti lost to Maghesi. In that trophy, they got, let's say, for instance, 86%. And Maghesi was the top achiever of that subject. They got, let's say, for instance, 95%. They were the top achievers of that subject. Now let's go to the subject, the bread and butter of what you are known for. Lay subject to everyone goes to you, ask you, like people want to imitate what is your game model or your study patterns for that subject. That being what's this EPSL.
Okay.
Now let's look at the PSL. PSL, everyone would keep on saying to you, it's like to the second best person in that class. Do you think you can win? Do you think you can pass a subject? So tutor, fine. Lomfana was Sekasi, he takes in the tutor Sekasi, he still believes in that tutor Sekasi, but he only tweaks and adjusts here and there. and then he passes that subject.
Okay.
And then when he passes that subject, it's the subject that you were known for. A subject like everyone knew you for. Like a subject yakho, a subject to shisangayo, the subject. And then let's look at this subject, another subject that the best kids are known for, like your Olympiads. Like the Olympiads where they take the best learners at school, they go and do your mathematics Olympiads and all that stuff. You are known for actually participating on those Olympiads. You would go to currently in the last Olympiad, like right currently the finals of the Olympiads.
Yeah.
But right now, let's look at what did you invest on those Olympiads. You've invested, let's say, for instance, your most expensive thing. We invested getting you textbooks, getting you tutors like who specialize from the varsity and all that stuff. You used to go weekends and all that stuff. But now let's sit down and look at it. The results are not showing. That's the truth of the matter fact of it. Like the results are not showing. So that's the thing. That's the thing that the results are not showing. Like look at the budget that they used like this season, especially the players that they brought in this season compared to other season, and compared to the next best person to you who uses a slightly lesser budget compared to you. Like it's not adding up. The in versus out, the input versus the output, it's not adding up. Like look at Leon, the price value of him on his own. It's more than who's this more than Deng. It's actually, let's put it like this, it's equivalent to the output of who's this Mbogazi. Mbogazi left PSL, and look at the input that he came in at Orlando Pirates, slightly lesser than what who's this Leon came to what's this Sundowns with. And then the output of Mbogazi left Pirates. Now let's look at the output of Mbogazi, $5 million US. Now let's look at the input of who's this Leon. That's if I'm not mistaken, they said it was $2 million. If I'm not mistaken, I stand to be corrected on that one. But you see, I hope you get what I'm saying. The input and the output of that, it's not adding up.
If you're doing that, I could argue that the Club World Cup gave them how much? Playing the Club World Cup in terms of input, and they needed to go spend that money if they want to compete on different fronts. And right now, if you look at the input of them getting to the final of the Champions League, I believe it's around $3 million that they're going to be getting on top of the, how much was it, 100 million that they got from the what do you call it, the Club World Cup. Surely then it balances. If we're doing inputs and outputs, does Sundowns need to sell players in order to do it? Do we count the signings that Pirates have made? How much are they when we look at it on value? So is it really? I'm just going on what you're saying right now. In terms of value, is it fair to
I understand what you're saying.
Because also Sundowns is going to go compete with people that are if you look at Al Ahly's budget versus anybody else in the Champions League or even Esperance or even those teams, those budgets are wild. If Sundowns wants to go compete that side, they have to spend money. And at the level of those guys. So Nabo, it's not like they're spending jet. They've got one eye on that thing where they're competing with really big boys. And unfortunately in the league, I still have to have those players in my team, but it's not me spending to go buy the league, if that makes sense. And they got in the final of the big boys.
I get what you're saying, but look at, if we can also like counter it with this one of saying like, look at the big boys of all the continental trophies of last season. Orlando Pirates was like the smallest spender of that, and then look at the group that Orlando Pirates was competing in, and who was the topper of that group? The top of that group with a lesser budget.
So I can argue. We can also speak to it like this. I can actually speak to it like this then. Pirates did that, didn't qualify the following year. Bayer Leverkusen won the league invincible, didn't do it the following year. Liverpool won the league, didn't win it the following year versus Bomen City. Yeah, we'll still yet to see if Pirates can do it next year, but Mamelodi Sundowns has had to do that for multiple years. So even that justifies some of the spending. Does it not?
Yeah, I think it can justify you can say it justifies the spending, but look at the end of the day, they've been spending, but where's the trophy to actually say this is what we were spending for?
They didn't have it before.
Because at the end of the day, like at the pinnacle, for instance, your progress at the pinnacle, it's measured at success, because progress at Kaizer Chiefs was measured with the amount of points they've acquired. And then now, how do we measure the success of the team that's at the pinnacle? Success.
Do we not give Pirates
Success
credit?
is what they will measure.
Do we not give Pirates credit? Because they've jumped
Pirates,
90, they were 12 points behind, if I'm not mistaken, last year. Before that, they were 16. Before that, they were 23. So when you're looking at this, don't you say, yes, I've kept my standard pretty much the same, and somebody's done the work to catch me? It's never happened. Even previously.
yes, you've kept your standard. You kept your standard the same on something that you were known for. But
Yeah.
look at the other ones that he kept his standards the same in almost everything that he did. And he also did more on something that you were known for.
Wait, who's this? Wait.
I hope you get what I'm saying. I'm saying like Orlando Pirates, he kept his standards across the board. His MTN 8, he kept it. Another trophy, his two trophies standards, he kept them. And then now he's taking something that you are known for.
Yes.
So that's the progress that he's done. And then when on your side, what did you do to challenge him on the first two things that he was known for? You lost in the past 3 years to the same person.
Yeah.
On both of those two trophies. So you lost those two trophies because at the end of the day, like most of your players, at the end of the day, what are they going to be measured for? What were you doing for the past few seasons? Here's a medal. A police will say here, will stand here, for example, and say, my first is not on the Pirates. These are my first 2 medals that I won. And then bear in mind, that is a police's first professional medal. So
Yeah.
those medals, at the end of the day, they do acquire and they do count.
So can
Because
I?
at the end of the day, when you reach the final,
Yeah. No, sorry, go on.
because at the end of the day, are we going to say that we are going to be pushing it for the silver medal consistently? So what is the next step from there? How are you going to raise that ceiling of getting there? Is it going to be the ceiling of saying like, I go to the final next season? Next season, let's say we have the repeat of this entire season again. Yeah, I went to the CAF Champions League again. So at the end of the day,
Okay,
is that what you're going to be playing for
can I
the
ask you
final
this?
over and over again?
Can I ask you this? In the time that this new student
Sure.
was coming in and they were building, my student has gone and done something that was never been done. The Club World Cup has never been held the way it was held. I had to go represent us there. Then I had to come back home and also go into the Champions League and do something that has never been done before in terms of the Champions League, right? Now I've done it twice even. So if I say to you that, okay, you've got your school's prize, then you've got the province's prize, and I am going to the finals of the province's prize, and then I'm going to the final of South Africans while still competing with you, can I come back and say those things are bigger? And being in the final of that thing in the context of our school, our province, or whatever, hasn't been done. And now I'm doing it twice in a row. Possibly, we don't know if he's going to win it or not, but possibly I'm doing it. And your star pupil was never able to do this. And in the time that your star pupil was here, there was nobody who was competing. So that's why I hear you, but that's why I was saying that even in the when you speak about budgets, these guys are not spending all the money to go compete with Pirates. They're spending the money because they're going to go face monsters in the Champions League. And those monsters, in South Africa, we've only won it twice. So if these guys are getting to the semis and these guys are getting to the final consistently, and these other guys are winning local trophies, but they're not going further, and in the race that they've had, yes, they've been winning the trophies, but they've been miles behind number one in all of those years, 8 years. And the last time they won the league or something similar was 2012. Wouldn't you say that that person is having an incredible season that was unaccounted for? And these people haven't really dropped their standard. They've actually gone a step further in the bigger thing, and that might be what's hurting them locally because they have to split their focuses.
Yeah, it could be looked at. It could be looked at it like that, and like two things can be right at the same time. Because at the end of the day, this other person you've been dusting for the past few years, and he's catching up at an alarming rate.
I love
He's
it.
catching up at an alarming rate because that alarming rate that's catching up towards you, it actually shows like there's another model that it can actually get you the results that you're actually striving for.
Yeah.
It's something that's much more lesser.
No, look, all I'm saying is give credit to the other guy because this season was not a gradual jump. The jump that Pirates has done is like I was running 11 seconds, go 100 meter. Now I come back and I'm running 10.1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a quantum leap. Like even we should all be surprised. But then the guy who's been, but anyway, for time's sake, I'm just saying that I hear what you're saying, but also remember that Cardoso, Liena, he didn't have 3 years and 4 years to build this thing. He's in a year and a half for what he's doing, you know, and the model of Sundowns has fundamentally changed because they needed to change a lot of things internally to accommodate Cardoso, but also to make that move outside. So Sundowns is also going through a massive change, right, during this time. So for me, Sundowns may have dropped a little bit, but Pirates has increased immensely. Nobody was expecting this, if that makes sense. And then maybe for your argument, we look at next year and the following year to see whether Pirates can maintain, or whether they can balance now having to do Champions League as well, now having to do everything that the other kid has to do in order to maintain the level, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that.
That makes sense.
Is that not the question now, that can Pirates maintain?
Two things can be right at the same time.
But for time, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I get you. Like two things can be right at the same time. Sharp, you say.
Thank you, Tyler. Let me go to Amu. Amu.
Yes, Mr. Oti.
Welcome. You've heard all the arguments we've been making.
Yes.
What are we saying about this topic we're speaking about here?
Okay, thank you. Let me say good evening to the panel and good evening to you, Mr. Oti. Mr. Oti, to answer your question, definitely yes, if he wins, because your question, will the Champions League save Cardoso?
Yeah.
Yes, if he wins. Yeah. Okay. Yes, and he deserves it because you know, Sundowns, they've been winning league. They've been winning league without many good challenge, But now Pirates has pressed on and overtake them because I personally believe Pirates will win this league come Saturday, right? And there are 2 games, so it's very, very much highly possible for them. 99%, I believe Pirates will be crowned. So Cardoso, yes, he needs to be given time if you win this Champions League, and the league favors them. You understand? The problem is that when Leon add the other one called William subtract, that's the problem. You see, he plus the goals, William subtracts the goals. You see, that's the big problem. And it's not a coach problem. You see, most of the time, Mr. Schuster, OT, Mr. Schuster is scoring. Oh, Sharks is scoring. He's shaxing them. He's shaxing them, Leon. All the time, Mr. OT. Sharks. And then the other one, subtract. Avula konke. What's the problem with Williams? But he says it's Mzazi's number 1. He's taking the coolness reign, and you understand. That's the problem. It's not the problem with the coach. No. The coach has done his job. Look, 7 goals. Imagine. Boli or Sharks, they have been added those goals, but the other ones subtract all the time. It's mathematics. Come on. This is not the problem with the coach. The coach doesn't have a problem, guys. Let us look at it. Even yesterday, I won a goal wakhona see yona le ithi prove ukuthi Mzazi is number 1. Ivula konke. Come on. Leon score again. Yesterday scored twice, right? Leon, Mr. Sharks. Again, twice. He added the one subtract. Come on, Mr. OTC. You want to see Bege Kanje?
I'm getting killed by this Schuster.
Serious, Mr. OTC. Let us look this with 2 different eyes. Let us not favor us, guys. This coach deserves to be there. And for me, yes, he's gonna win the CAF, and I'm sure, and he will score. Please, Sanders, score. I know Leon, they score more. Please don't subtract, William. Maybe we are lapha khona.
But then can I ask you,
Yes.
aren't we
Yes.
also being a little bit harsh on these players as well? Because with everything that's happening, Pella Williams was playing AFCON, he's playing Champions League, he's playing League. Wait, see, just everything is happening at the same time. They come from the Club World Cup. Are we
Yes.
being unfair that at the end of the season, is it really bad to be out of the trophies that you are out of anyway in the previous years? It's not like Mamelodi Sundowns was winning the Nedbank Cup in the MTN 8.
Okay.
Or even the Culling. Culling obviously was the smaller teams that were winning those. But then they're out of those trophies anyway. They're in the finals of the Champions League and they lost the league 3 days to go after Pirates did a Maza. Surely we're being a little bit too harsh on them also.
No, according to Dr. Motsepe,
Yeah.
according to, I will second you, Mr. Oti, but according to Dr. Motsepe, he said, do not blame about the fatigue. It's not about the fatigue. Don't tell me about that. He's paying them, Pele. It's not me, Oti. Remember, it's the one who's paying those players. And he allowed them to buy many players. Isn't that so, Mr. Oti? Isn't that so? That's the case. You see, if the owner, because it's the owner, yes. If let me use the title. If the owner said do not blame for fatigue, who am I? Because he knows the players better. He knows. We mustn't blame for the fatigue. Sundowns used to do this. Or if they are going to play CAF, they used to postpone matches and whatever. Now it's a high time for them. They've finished the league. It's done. I get Mr. Oti. Now they have more time for the CAF. Yes, you see, it's not about fatigue, Mr. Oti, because what Barcelona they can play 100 times. What Messi they cannot go to injury. I'm just giving an example. Ronaldo, because they love this thing. The problem with us, PSL, Siatswafa. You understand? And they pay more, these people. Motsepe can pay you, and we don't know even to budget. At the end of the day, we say, I stand out, hey, PS paying us a lot of money now because you have misused those money. You understand where I'm coming, Ms. Oti? We mustn't blame for the fatigue. Again, you must work and get paid. You have signed a contract. Is it not so, Mr. Oti? It's like boxing, Mr. Oti. Mike Tyson, because you signed a contract. Hey, the fist of Mike Tyson is so strong. Again, you have signed. You have signed, you try to win or lose or draw. Isn't that so? So you see, we mustn't blame for those things, fatigue, because players must be strong so that we can compete. Yes, we mustn't. I second Mr. Flompe. Yes, Mr. Oti. There is no such.
Okay, so then.
Yes.
Lastly, shortly, where does Sundowns go if they do get rid of Cardoso? Do you go local? Do you go international? Do you go African, the rest of Africa? Where do you go? Where would you say they must go?
Now say they must go local. It's because Sundowns, somewhere out, they missed a good coach like Roland. Roland was a good coach. I don't want to be. For me, yes, that was a good coach. You could see that Sundowns can play, because of Roland's squad, right? But what I can say, they must go local. You understand? They must go local. There's a good coach that doesn't take if players are complaining about fatigue, like Ben McCarthy, they will bench you that one. If you say, I'm tired, I'm like a lady, be strong, man. Come on, guys. You see, I can have signed Mr. Oti. No, thank you.
What time? I was gonna get me to travel. Let me go to Asia.
Sorry for mentioning words. Sorry. I will hide. Maybe I'll lose the number. I said just number 2. No, just for that kind of a team. For Lamututa, they call us Lamutu to us.
Time.
All right, Mr. Oti, thank you, my brother. All right, thank you, and I wish Bagania a good chance and Sundowns. I wish them the best. I'm coasting. Thank you, Mr. Oti. Thank you, my brother.
Mr. Oti must inform us, man, of time changes, man. How
this might be the new time.
Oh.
4 to 6.
4 to 6.
Time.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. You have to do homeworks now. You must help with
46,
homeworks.
hey,
And
these late nights, hey, are killing me.
yeah.
Lord.
Where do we start, Mr. OT? Where do we start? Phew. You know, I learned something, eh? Two things actually.
Yeah.
One is fans are never wrong. Fans are always right. That's
Eventually, they're always right. Eventually.
they're always right, you know. And more accurately, I've learned the saying that the truth will always go through three stages. First, obviously, is denied, then opposed, then treated as self-evident. We are here again, eh? Again, me and you, we are here again. Step one, we're in step one, you know. We're in step one with someone, you know. Right now, we're overlooked because things are rosy, you know. And I remember during that time, so when they hired G4S security, we were here, Mr. Oti, like, ow. And I remember we were asking a very simple question, Mr. Oti. Factually, we were asking a very simple question. What has Wadu done different from what Riviero has done? And we're like, no, guys, there's nothing here, right? And I remember, and the funny part is, we're here again where we questioned this magic fix of Mabasa. Does Paris need Mabasa? We're like, no, Makopa and Mbutuma work just fine for the system that they're playing because they have goal-scoring wingers. Now that thing is treated as self-evident. Now we're the ones that are going to be receiving that, hey, OT, you're not as happy as you're supposed to be on your life. I'm like, how? What else is he supposed to do? Jump up and down. Our happiness is tempered because we have long foreseen the success. So we cannot be celebrating like we are shocked by the success. We're not shocked. We foresaw that success. And again, Mr. OT, like a broken clock, like a cycle, like a moving wheel, we are done here again on Cardoso. And trust me, a week, 2 weeks from now, two things are going to happen. Either we're going to be told, we told you that you saw that Cardoso is a bad coach, or we're going to be again be accused of not celebrating enough on Sundowns with CAF Champions League.
Yeah.
Because that's the system that we're in. And I remember a friend of mine asked, but you said Cardoso statistically is a better coach than Rulani. I was like, at the time we still know statistics, it was true. Statistically, it was true then. And statistics are changing. If he happens to win this CAF Champions League, statistically, again, you go back to he'll be better than Rulani. And we're going to be overlooked in the celebrations. But should it happen that he loses, we're going to be told those ways that you are the same guys that told us that Cardoso is a good coach, you know? So I think we live in this world where, unfortunately for people like you and me, are always on the losing side of the argument.
I've got
no matter
another one
what.
for you. I've got another one for you. Remember when Rulani was fired, or they parted ways?
Yeah.
And we sat here and we said it was unfair.
Yeah.
Sundowns should never have taken out that press conference, that press release that said Rulani did not win the Champions League because the Champions League was not a must. And people were saying what? Yes, he must go.
Must go.
You're tired. The chameleon is what. Ne?
The funny part is, I was here defending Rulani. I will always remember the quote that the game was not boring, it was tactical.
Remember.
It was coined on this same show. But now we are treated as the enemies of Coach Rulani.
On McG, I said, what is going to be great? Melube is Limanyanu coach Pirates. By the time they see you coming, it's going to be too late. I did a video where I said, why not Rulani? why this. Anyway, think to
But we are there, Mr. Otis. But again, let's come back to the issue again. Like I'm saying, I guess this is the
But before we move on, I just want to ask you: is this the case then? Is this going to be the case? Because even Coach Pitso, he's loved in hindsight.
Yeah,
But
true.
at the moment, even after he won, when it was time for Coach Pitso to leave and things were happening, fans were sick of him, and people were complaining about his football. You know, the Three Musketeers, the three wise men, Mangoba, same thing. Coach Rulani, same thing. Now, Cardoso sits here, because Coach Rulani, the big fight was, no, but he can't just reach the semi-finals. How dare he just reach the semi-finals? He's not challenging Pirates in the MTN 8. Meanwhile, he's almost going invincible. And then this Cardoso, he's got 2 Champions League finals. He broke all the records last season. And this season, he hasn't dropped, they haven't dropped much. It's just Pirates.
That's the funny conversation that I'm hearing, OT. Even if he wins CAF Champions League, he must go. And I'm asking, how many CAF Champions Leagues do you have as a country? Never mind Sundowns, as a country. You know, and this is why sometimes I say some of the arguments are pedestrian. Bribu still in the morning, but I sledgehammer on the road. But anyways, I'm not there. Let's look at this, Mr. Oti, and we've been saying, and I think this is a conversation that one day we'll have to have more in depth, right? The depth of Sundowns. How deep is that depth? Or is it just names which are living on former glory? If we had played Shalulile, but you're like, how many times have Shalulile played? You know? If we had played Reyners yesterday, he came in, he's been dropping stinkers after stinkers after stinkers after stinkers. So you look at the striking force, let me start there, it's fine. The striking force, you look at it, you're like, there's just Leon, Mutiba, Shalulile, Reyners. It is 4 strikers, but there's only 1 striker that you can rely on. The other 3, they will drop stingers, you know. And then you look also on the side, on Matthew's side, who do we have, you know, who don't have anyone? It's just Matthews. Okay, fine, let's go to the other side. There's Saleh. Okay, he just knew he's adapting. There's not much we can say, but we're seeing it. Tapelo is old, you know. Saleh is he's in and out, you know. But yeah, so those are the 3 winners that we do have, you know. I think the only area that I can say Sundowns is kind of strong in is in the middle, where again we have options, but again you look at it, it's just one rotation. It's either you're playing Mokwena, Jaden, Allende, or Santos. Those 4. But then you check, okay, Obas can come in and do the work, but can you rely on Obas for 3 games? Can you start Obas on the weekend and say, I'm dropping Mokwena?
Resinho was starting games.
Resinho, the less I said about him. Who else has midfielders? The midfielders are done. There's Mukulise. You see, we're even forgetting there's Mukulise. And again, is this revisionist history that, oh, Mukulise, yeah, is this, but you're like, I saw at the point when Jaden arrived, you know, you look at the Tlauku, I'm like, hey, why is coach not been playing the Tlauku? I'm like, how? Do we see the Tlauku performing and how bad he was? Like, and sometimes you'll never give credit to the coach for this kind of thing, is that dropping him to DDC actually freshened him up. You know, it let him refocus. You know, he saw that, hey, maybe I'm not the star that I think I am. Maybe I'm replaceable. Maybe I'm just this small part in this big cog. He has, credit to him, he has managed to refresh and become like a new player again. But we'll never take credit to the coach for doing that. But what we'll do is, why wasn't he starting him? We forget that he was starting to start with, you know. And then you go to the back, and the back is a mess. We have Mudiba, you have Basadin, you have Lunga, you have Sibia, you have Tiwani, you have We have I mean on the just on the left, there's like
on the
5.
left. Yeah.
On the left, there's like 5 that you can count. But technically, we're just relying on Mudiba, and Mudiba is Mudiba. Can you drop Mudiba in the CAF Champions League final? Can you afford to do that? If you play Lunga, you're going to be eaten alive. You know, you go into the middle of the park, you have Ndamani, Cupido, Kekana. That is basically the 3. Mvala is in and out, he's in the wilderness, we don't know.
Because at some point,
Khoza, we know
he is not really trusted.
Your Hannes is not trusted. You know, you go to the left hand side, you have Zuko. Okay, Tapelo, I'll call him as half.
On the right,
Tapelo is half because I counted him. Is Tapelo and Zuko. I mean, Mudau and Zuko. But can you drop Mudau in the CAF Champions League final and play Zuko? And in the keeping position, we have maybe 6-7 keepers, but we only have Williams. So you look at this entire squad and you're like, these players that are living on their, their reputation, not necessarily what they can give at the moment. And going forward, maybe you need a Coach Cardoso. I doubt you'll renew his contract if he doesn't win CAF Champions League, but maybe you need a Coach Cardoso and we say rebuild the squad while winning. Refresh the squad while winning, you know, because it needs to be refreshed. And we need to let go of people that have to be let go of. Imagine Cardoso wanted to swap Shalulile for the experienced keeper. And what did Sundowns fans respond by? Shalulile Aronamaya. Now, in hindsight, as fans, we are saying Williams is comfortable, there's no competition. But we're the same people that were criticizing the move to come and get a keeper in releasing our favorite.
A young keeper.
That's why I say you can't win with fans. You know, so I think, yeah.
No, I want to ask on the depth thing. You know, I've heard a lot of people speak about depth and rotation. Is that also revisionist history? Because the same way I'll even use Mkulisi. Kulisi has been Kulisi for 5 years.
More than 5, eh? Since Pitso.
You had Bo Maema, who were supposed heroes from the bench. You had Abombule. You had I listed out some of the guys. And I'm like, was there ever a good rotation at Sundowns?
And it goes back to the question that you're asking, and I want to link it with this, that we love decoration. People say, Cardoso trimmed the squad. I'm like, who did he trim? And was that player, I'm not saying adding value, but was that player impactful into the starting 11 or being rotated at the very least? Maema, Lodge, Druk, Mbule, if you want to add him. And you're like, okay, maybe Maema and Druk were there Sundowns. That's 2 players. But it is being spinned in such a way that we are saying he has trimmed the squad, which is factually incorrect, you know. And you check, I think I was checking, he has used the most number of players than Rulani did, and than the co-coaches did, than Pitso did. Pitso didn't rotate as, you know, the way people remember Pitso is so funny. I don't remember Pitso the same way people remember him, you know. Pitso had a squad, and that squad he would lose and die with it, you know. I know he'll get credited for bringing youngsters. So like, okay, which youngsters? Mucheka Madisha, Pesitao, in a space of what time again, you know? So I think Sundowns has, in actual fact, this thing of rotation, you cannot fully rotate. You can't have 2 starting 11s. In theory, you can, but you can't.
You remember we had this conversation?
What I understand better. Yeah, I remember. I remember we were asking how to rotate, partial or full. And to answer Gustavo also, for me, I believe, right, you need to have 18 players or 20 players that you can trust. Okay. Just 20 players, right? And rotation, what that means is, it is possible that in one game, I can take out Tebo rest, and then I'll play Jaden, Allende, and Santos in the midfield. For me, that is depth. Not necessarily saying Mokwena, Jayden, Allende, Santos must have that replacements. No, for me it's just, can I rest? Can I rotate? Can I play around with you guys? If it's 4 people, that's good. You know, in the striking force, can I have 2 strikers that, like we're doing with Luan and Reynolds on the boot scoring? I can drop Leon and put Reynas, and Reynas would give me the same output, if anything, at least less than what Leon was doing. For me, that's how I define depth, But Mr. OT, also in closing a bit, or from my side at least, Sundowns before Cardoso had 2 finals, lost 1, won 1. With Cardoso, they had 2 finals. That's all I'm saying. They've had 2 finals. It's possible that he might win 1 and lose 1. It would have matched Sundowns' history in its entire existence. He would have matched Pirates' history. He would have matched Kaizer Chiefs. Okay, superseded Kaizer Chiefs' history. And that's the person that we want him to go, because, like you're saying, he's not sophisticated. We don't like him, And now that I'm remembering, I dislike this thing of singling him out as if he's a kid with leprosy, that one kid in the family that is an outcast or that is misbehaving. And I'm like, Rulani used to say the most outrageous things. Mangoba, Mosimane, Munendop, Wadu, Nagazi, Stuart. We even had a coach that resigned on national TV, but then he's not there.
Another one that saw on national TV. Anyway.
Another one saw on national TV. But we're singling him out and we're making him look like he's an outcast. I'm not saying what things that he's saying is right or wrong. They might be wrong, but all coaches are doing it. But because he doesn't have that blood of being loved, man. He's not a likable character, So it ends up being him being singled out. So I think for me, it's such an unfair conversation that we're having with the guy.
For time I'm gonna jump in, guys.
For once, we enjoyed our time like the old days. We used to have, like the old days.
The time is coming back. La bua. Anyway, no, guys. Look, to close off, personally, I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. I'm not saying that no, this side is wrong and that side is wrong. All I'm saying is that, guys, we also need to understand our biases. We also need to understand that some of the things that we're talking about are not really as factual as we say they are, and some of them are just narratives. And sometimes, objectively, I don't like Arteta's appointment. I don't like the 7 years that he's been there. But if he wins a league, you can't argue with it. So in this conversation, what I'm hearing a lot is that even when we see the facts put on the table, we still say, no, we're not doing this. We still say, no, this guy's like this. No, we like this. And we fail to just say, guys, mina ngizithandela uRulani. See, like Bongani is saying, guys, on YouTube, guys, this is not about the quality of players, but the ability to manage his squad. And the lack of creativity in the team style of play. You can't play the same type of football all season, which is true. But with all of your style that you had, you've never done this. Like I said, by this time, the league, guys, when were the semi-finals of CAF? When were the semi-finals of CAF? When? So there hasn't been a Sundowns coach since Pitso, who has had to contend with what happens with also a 2-legged final and say, okay, we're going to go, we're looking at that, while chasing the league, actually leading the league, while still having a team on the bottom right next to you, under you. These are all new things. When I said, I got a lot of people complaining when I said on SuperSport, guys, both of these teams have not done this before. Pirates has not been in the hunt for the league last 3, 4, 5 games. They haven't been, it hasn't happened. I'll repeat, by this time, Jose was gone. Jose had left with 3, 4 games left. He was like, guys, gafana. Kupa leave yaka kupa utamaya, and Pirates said you can go. Before that, we don't even speak. So this is the first time where a coach is doing this. And it's the first time, if we're being honest, where there is an expectation, a real expectation. The real thing and what we perceive to be expectations are also two very different things. Remember when I was asking Pirates fans, I asked you Pirates fans, guys, were you competing or were you just the best team out of the rest of the guys? This is now we are seeing this is what competing looks like. With Sundowns, yes, you were a big team. We have this thing. No, guys, you were a big team and everybody in Africa is afraid and you're dominating and people come and park the bus and they do all of that stuff. Do you know what all those park the bus teams did? They went and won. Esperance beat Mamelodi Sundowns and went and won the thing. For example, now you've got a guy who you may not like what he's doing. You're talking about domination. People are talking about, no, this is the most vulnerable. Well, the most vulnerable is standing in a Champions League final. He's complaining because he's had to play 7 games in 21 days and all those games are important. It's never happened. It's never happened. So even from that perspective, when you look at it and you go, actually, even the standard that we have, no, the standard is that you have to go and win the Champions League. The Champions League has only been won twice by South African teams. 2 times. The last time was 1995. There's people who weren't even thoughts in their parents' heads. Nalima 2000 here, who don't know that Leo Champions League, it wasn't, it's a whole season of what? It was what, 6 games, if I'm not mistaken. So again, even these standards are on. And what really sucks for me, is that then you pick and choose who you are putting the standards on. You pick and choose. No, we pick and choose. Today, we're choosing that Cardoso must go win the Champions League. But with the other one, we're saying, no, eventually he would have gotten there. No, eventually he was going there. Papas, but Sundowns have been winning. If Rulani was still there, he was going to reach the finals. Papas, do you know how long Rulani was at Sundowns? Just by the way. Do you know how long he was at Sundowns? Do you know that Rulani has a Champions League medal? That's how long he's been there. So are you willing to give Cardoso the same amount of years for him to win the thing? If already in a year and a half, he's got 2 finals. Are you willing? Are you willing to say, okay, we'll give him the exact same time? That's what I was saying. That, yeah, you pick and choose where these standards apply. You didn't have the standard on Rulani. That's why even now you're still saying, if he had more time. Cardoso does it twice, and gets to a final twice, and then you guys are saying he must go immediately. Mara lawyer, you were willing to give him 3 years. And again, I'm not saying people are right or wrong. That's not the point that I'm speaking about. People are right or wrong. I'm saying that Nati si unfair. Mas khuluma ngale zinto man. Si unfair. Think about how hated Wadu was in the beginning of the season. He's a hero now. Abanye bayakora, abamahupa, you guys, people want King. Oh wait, let me see. He built something unlike Cardoso. Cardoso declined the. Papas, would you allow him to sign players on his own? Players that he doesn't want. Get rid of the guys you don't want. Because again, that's what Rulani did. Rulani got to get rid of players, guys. He got rid of. He benched Onyango at a time when Onyango was the #1 keeper in Africa according to the CAF Awards. He benched him. Abo Charlie were titles in when they got moved out of the club. My captain was captain. They took him out, but you know, it's a podcast. How Jimmy the Rona, the camera, you're gonna go to a podcast. When you guys say build and what, are you even allowing the guys to go and do that? So, Mina, it's more about the unfairness for me. It's more of the unfairness for me that we're sitting down and we're going, okay. No, Malume Kuzo, the point I'm making is that he's been there. He was inside. He's always been there. So expecting an expectation of him and an expectation of somebody who walks into the door has to be two different things. But anyway, guys, this was meant to end at 6. I'm just saying, guys, the next time when we speak about narratives and we speak about those things, it's not that you are wrong. It's not that you are whatever. But some of the things we say, it's like, and then say champa, nati. Some of the things we say, some of the things we follow, and then we go and speak about. Guys, let's be fair. I would say, from my point of view, if Cardoso gets fired, I'm okay with it. Because that's what they said to Rulani when he got fired. When they parted ways, they said the Champions League is more important. And I remember even on that day, I asked, going forward, does every coach have to win the Champions League? Or is it a thing you already know, Nani, you picked and choose? That's what I said when he was fired. But then now I'm sitting here with Cardoso and I'm like, guys, Maranani, year and a half, 2 Champions League finals. Muntu kumele ahambe. Freak season. Pirates is doing mawaza. Pirates is doing incredible things this season. And Zafun Nogbapi credit. It's no, you are dropping. Meanwhile, the drop is not really that much of a drop. But anyway, guys, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me. 4 o'clock. We're going to try this 4 o'clock thing, 4 to 6, drive time. And we're going to take it from there. Thank you to everybody that joined. Shout out to Twagazi04 and Mr. Venom Baba. Shout out. Thank you for the superfan gifts that side on YouTube, guys. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, guys, thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow at 4. Bye, everyone.